course, just hard to believe. But nonetheless, before CBD, we really didn't have a way to protect the integrity of our central nervous system. Now, at least, we give ourselves a fighting chance to be able to overcome some of these toxins that are in our environment. Now, let's a little more specifically, a nice bit of research here showing muscle loss in older age is linked to fewer nerve signals. So again, the importance of the central nervous system. Now, here pictured, you have a 23-year-old man with normal leg muscles, and you can see very well expressed in muscle tissue. But what happens by the time this gentleman turns to be 78 years old? He's lost almost half of his muscle mass, and basically because of a loss of nerve and nerve signals. Here, the research goes on to show that from the forepart of the spine, we have about 60 to 70,000 nerves that normally come down and innervate the legs and goes all the way down to the feet. But what happens as we age, or let's say we have diabetes or what have you, that unfortunately these nerves go dormant or they actually die off. And with the neuroprotective and even neuroregenerative benefits of CBD, we really think we can help prevent this unfortunate muscle wasting situation from happening. We think something that as time goes along, more of this anti-aging neurogenesis, helping the body to stay younger and go along further. I mean, my gosh, it's unbelievable what we're really doing here. I mean, one of our, our top leader in our Kannaway tree, Randy Schrader. I mean, here's a 60-plus-year-old individual. He's playing golf like he's on the PGA Tour. He's traveling the world. He has a young, beautiful wife, and my gosh, a 2-year-old son who's been raised on the cannabinoids.
Are you guys listening to Titus?
Through her pregnancy.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
He's telling Randy like he's on the PGA Tour. He's going to love that.
I mean, he truly is doing some amazing things, and I'm just so excited about some of the other athletes. How about Todd Ritchie out of Phoenix? My gosh, here he's in his mid-50s and winning a marathon or triathlon type events. I've been so impressed seeing Todd over the past couple of years. I just saw him in Phoenix back last month, and boy, he looked absolutely fabulous. We had an opportunity to play a nice round of golf with him, and certainly what he's doing in terms of sports and sport recovery. I mean, you run these very long distance events, and CBD has just helped him to recover and really improve on his performance.
Todd Ritchie.
We're certainly seeing a good number of ex-athletes coming into Kannaway. Eric Dickerson, the great NFL running back, is certainly going to be presenting at our Believe conference. But when we have more of the current athletes starting to take our product and seeing these benefits, it's going to tremendously extend their careers and extend their good quality of life. Now, we did talk about CBD creating neurogenesis in lab animals. Here's a link to the study. Basically, CBD's action on a special group of proteins, technically called peroxisome proliferator activated receptors of the gamma variety. PPAR gamma, very technically, is the reason that
he's got to be on CBD just to deliver this speech with all these big words.
I'm quite excited about that. Now, our company, Medical Marijuana Inc., many great firsts. The first publicly traded company in the U.S., the industrial hemp medical cannabis space.
Okay.
The entire CBD category.
I'm going to hop off of this.
Pipeline from Europe, the first hemp-based.
I'm just going to tell you, Stuart Titus is a freaking gem. Do you guys know this? Can you guys hear me? Can anyone hear me?
Yeah.
He is a gem of a human being. Like every idea I have, because I have a lot of them. Every idea I have, I send to Titus and instantly he puts it into action. He's just like that awesome. Like I mean, I literally was, because the other night I thought, all this 5G BS, I'm like, it's just everywhere. Like I'm rubbing essential oils on my kids' head. I read that rosemary, and we use Kannaway's essential oils for everything, but I'm literally, it says you're supposed to coat the skull with rosemary oil before you go to bed. So I've been doing that with my kids for probably about 6 weeks because I read an article on it. After they get out of the shower, they rub it through their hair. So I'm thinking we need like a hemp blanket that's full of this stuff that prevents from the 5G network. So I send it to Titus. And all of a sudden, I text Titus like at 1 a.m. when I thought of it. And Titus instantly gets the ball rolling because, of course, he's in Vancouver or San Diego, 2 hours behind. He comprises an email to like, Blake, all these guys, I mean, everybody that's like in development. And he's like, listen, we need a hemp blanket that has the 5G protective coating on it. And I'm like, yeah, we do. And all of a sudden, Blake's like, yeah, we got a blanket coming out from Hempies. And I was like, no, you don't understand. Does it have that protective coating that protects from the 5G network? And then Titus chimes in and puts 5 like hyperlinks about how we need to be sleeping with bedding that has this protective coating. And Titus is like, I think that, he said, don't worry, I'll talk to the guy that owns Hempies. I can't remember his name right now. I'll talk to that guy and I'll make sure that he adds that layer of coating to the new hemp blanket. I'm like, oh my gosh, I love you, Titus. You think like I think. You're like my soul brother. Anyway. So he's just a gem. Like he is like on top of things, like we're on top of things, like with healing and natural health, and nothing is weird. Like when you talk to him, nothing is weird. You know, some people say, oh, you're being radical because now you're saying there's glyphosate in beer. He's like, oh yeah, there's all kinds of glyphosate in beer. I love Titus. Anyway, hey, what a strong, short, powerful month. We got 1 day left. How you guys doing on your goals? Hopefully everybody's going to hop on here now that the webinar is over. Hey, Dwayne, we got to make sure those of you that are really earning are active at 110. Make sure that when you go in that your PV is active at 110. Make sure that you have 3 separate legs. We've had people that have missed their minimum income guarantees and bonuses because they don't have 3 legs.
So Renita,
yeah.
I got a question. I talked to Kyle about that, and I called customer service today, and he just couldn't get it. But my question was to Kyle was if we have people, because we have a lot of people on our team whose auto ship fires on the 30th and 31st.
And the 29th.
Oh yeah, and the 29th. Do they do they have to be notified to reset their auto ship to make sure it fires on the 28th because there was only 28 days?
Oh my gosh, Jacinta, that's an excellent question. I have no idea.
I'm going to say yes.
Kyle
Well,
said he thinks
what I would say is, here's what I would think. They would have to either be notified, but you think that would have happened already, right? I don't know.
Who would be notified? Are you kidding me?
Who's going to notify them?
No, the people that like if their auto ship is supposed to be coming out on the 28th,
right?
And they must have something that's the 29th or the 30th. Let's say that a corporate, like they obviously know that, like with shipping, like okay, one of the auto ship dates is the 29th and 30th.
Right.
Here, let me text Samantha that question. It's a great question. Haven't been asked that question yet. Maybe Scott knows that question. Maybe he's been dealing with that question. I didn't realize when I look at Smart Chip, I didn't realize the latest date that you could go out was the 29th or 30th. I know that it fired 2 days ago, so I thought that was the latest.
I can just say that I went in and helped one of my team today, and I was able to put hers. You couldn't put it for today. You had to put it for tomorrow, and so I did put it for the 28th because hers didn't ship until the 31st usually. So when I couldn't get an answer, I just made it for the 28th because that we each have to have 110, right?
Actually, they have to do it by today.
Why by today? Well, because they can't do it again. If they don't know what they'll have to do, Kyle, then is tomorrow they'll just have to go in and place an order and not have their Smart Chip fire.
Right.
That's what's going to happen.
Yep, that's right.
That's what's going to do. Hi, quick question. Customer service was confused. People whose auto ship, whose Smart Ship fired on the 30th and 31st. Is that really what it said?
29th, 30th, and 31st, because we don't have those days in this month.
And it says those dates on as a Smart Ship option?
Yeah.
Well,
No, because you can pick. You can pick the dates of the Smart Ship option. I guess I haven't looked at that in a long time.
Well, here's what I know. We have people that ship on that fire on the last day of the month. That's what we know.
You do know that. Okay.
Yeah.
When will Smart Ship, here we go.
Will it affect that?
Be fired. The question is when it's going to be fired. Should I tell you what I think? I mean, because
I think if you don't have it the 28th, you're not going to count.
I think that's is that a technical glitch? God, I hope not. Fired out. Okay, we'll see what she says back here.
Okay.
Okay, that's a really great question. Never thought about that question. I just assumed the last date for Smart Chip was like on the I thought it was like the 26th or something like that.
No,
because
we switched one today, and you could switch it till it had 28, 29, 30, and 31.
Okay.
For the other months.
Good question. She'll get back to me. It's still early out there. I'll send it to Randy too, see what he says.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a great question. So, strong but a short but powerful month. That's how I'm feeling. Like it was a great month for a lot of people. We had tons of people that actually did hit that fast start goal. They were shooting for their 3, and they just did it hell and high water. They just pulled through it. And so I'm really thankful for that. Brandy Heater being one of them. She was so nervous about getting it. She got it. Remember Brandy Heater last week?
Yep.
She went fast start, so we're really thankful about that. And you know what it takes? Consistent effort, consistent Facebook Lives, consistent sending out your links. Consistency of action is what creates results in network marketing, period. There's nothing else that beats consistent action in network marketing. So if you're consistently out there, sharing it, guess what's going to happen? You're going to be reaping the rewards and the results. So, and even tonight, Connie Picard, great gal. Her goal, I don't know if you guys remember, at the Mastermind call at the beginning of the month was to sponsor 20 people this month. Wow, what an audacious goal. That sounds like a goal I have every month. But Connie went out and she's like, Renita, I can't get on the Mastermind tonight. I'm enrolling 3 more people because I'm trying to hit my goal. I'm like, boom, just pushing it right till the end. These people are. It's very exciting to see that momentum and that energy in our teams, especially after people go fast start. I think it's so important that right after they go fast start, we get with them. Don't settle in with that. We want to celebrate that, but we want to go right to the next goal, which is fast start 3,000, because you don't want to be trying to hit that like a week before the deadline, because then all it is stress, And so if you start now, and I've realized if you just do a little bit every day, it doesn't have that massive stress on the last 3 days of the month. If you don't do a little bit each day, you're just stressed to the max the last 3 days of the month because you're trying to, hit the numbers, or, a lot of people are like trying to get the customers the last 3 days because they're still inactive or whatever the goal is. And so I encourage you guys, just do consistent, persistent activity. Okay, so did any of you guys, this is something I want to discuss just briefly. Did any of you guys, when I put that movie out there, it was called Transcendence. It was not even anything related to Kannaway. It was a movie called Transcendence. It was free. You could watch it free for like 5 days. It was a really powerful movie. There's this guy on there, this guy that he almost seems like he's a nut job. He's so weird. His name is Wim Hof. And he's this guy that literally like was submerged in an ice bath for 2 hours and his core temperature went up. Like he's got all these kind of really radical things. They call him the Iceman. And he believes that everything is mind. Everything is the mind. Everything is the mind. Like you can control your mind to control your life. Well, I was listening. Someone sent me this. Someone in our Kannaway team. Someone in our Kway Global team sent me a link this morning. And they said, Renita, you got to listen to this guy. And so I started listening to him, and at 11 minutes, he starts talking about the opioid receptors in the brain and the cannabinoid receptors in the brain, and how we're just coming in to the cannabinoid receptors and how they control he just was like going on and on about the cannabinoid receptors. And he's like, science has got to go there because we all have this internal state that we can suppress pain, improve mood. He's like, you can heal bipolar. Like he's talking like that. Like it's like when you almost listen to him, you're like, this guy is just like so far-fetched. But then when he starts talking about all the facets of the brain, I'm like, oh my gosh, he's like genius. Like he's talking like someone who really has studied the brain. Anyway, I'm going to post it to the Kway Global group. You guys should watch it. He starts talking about the endocannabinoid system and CBDs at 11 minutes of the video. If you don't want to watch the whole thing, just fast forward to about 10:30 when he starts talking about the opioid receptors and the endocannabinoid system. And he says in the video, science is just now grabbing hold of it to really understand the capacity that this endocannabinoid system does to suppress pain, to enhance mood. He's like, it's like this natural thing that is in our bodies built in to like create this feeling of highness and goodness and like bliss. And because we haven't studied it, and almost because we've suppressed it because no one's been nourishing it, it's like no one taps into it. Anyway, he's so good. You guys got to watch it. And now tonight, my boys were meditating because they were watching his videos. And then both of them took their shoes off and ran around the house barefoot twice because they're like, want to be like the Iceman now. I'm like, get in the house, take the wet socks off. Let's go. Anyway, the point is, I said, did it hurt you? And he goes, no, I was just thinking and breathing. Anyway, you got to listen to what he says because I feel like when we listen to Titus, we are on the forefront of all this endocannabinoid stuff. You guys, do you understand that even though Kannaway brand ambassadors know a lot, I think I would say 95% more than the average human beings know about the endocannabinoid system, maybe even higher percentage than that. Do you know that we probably know 1/100th of what we're about to know? Have you guys ever thought about that? Like how this is just like the tip of the iceberg. Like science has not even really fully revealed its effects yet. Like with the science of the healing of cancers and different things like that. We're just coming into that era. Like, it's just so exciting to think about, right? Or do you guys get excited about thinking about these things? About, like, I mean, when I talked to Titus and he's like, yeah, if we could create a CBD that was really like, you know, targeting people with Alzheimer's, a CBD that was targeting, you know, athletes, a CBD that was targeting this, and there was different, not only the CBD, but different herbs in there that are actually helping to work synergistically with that CBD to combat the, like, you know, CBD for diabetes. Like he was just naming all this stuff and I was like getting so excited. I'm like, this is the future of CBD. This is where we're going. So be proud to know that you guys are with the innovators. That's what I say. I mean, we're not monkeying around, you know, dabbling in the marketplace with just a little bit of CBD here and there. Like Titus is thinking, how can we get it fine-tuned to treat conditions and market to those conditions? Like that gets me so fired up. You have no idea. Right? So anyway, with that being said, are you guys doing the daily activities? Did you all get on the Wednesday night call is the question of the hour, because consistency is king. Were you all able to hop on? Raise your hand like this if you got on. A couple of you got on. The rest of you, remember, you can't lead your team someplace you don't go. So you got to be on it yourself. Trust me, I have 14 things going on. I didn't want to get on it, but I had it playing the whole time, and I took a dozen screenshots so I could post them tomorrow on social media. So remember, if you get on those Wednesday night mastermind call or Wednesday night corporate events, your team will be on, because you're kind of holding them to the fire a little bit. You're saying, hey, are you getting on that? You know, in fact, I did a new member orientation this morning, and I said one of the secrets to your success is not only teaching everybody that you put in the business these exact 10 steps that I'm teaching you right now, it's getting every one of your team on the Wednesday night corporate events. That's a secret to your success. I said increases belief, it's free college for your brand ambassadors. So make sure that you guys are getting on it so that you can encourage your team to get on it, because it's much easier to lead somebody someplace that you're going, right? Anybody have any big news for the week that's going on with their businesses? I'm going to unmute you guys. You're all like all muted. What's going on here? Unmute all. Now you're all unmuted. Any big events going on in anybody's businesses this week?
Not so much.
Not so much, Nathan? Come on, baby. Nathan, were you on the webinar, the corporate webinar?
Yeah, it was still going on.
Yeah, it's good. You know what I always do? I always try to take screenshots of it with my phone, because those make for really great Facebook posts later on. So if you guys aren't doing that, you should totally do that, because Titus's slides are just so fantastic, whether it's about the opioid receptors in the brain or whatever. It's just all incredible, isn't it? And so it's a great tool that I do every single week. I actually take, if I go through my phone, I bet I have 15 screenshots of his presentation, just so I can post it tomorrow, because guess what that is? A conversation starter on social media. That's a conversation starter on social media, where you don't have to go out and say, buy my product and put your Kannaway number yet again for the 100th time this week. If you give people content, they want what you have. So give them content. Give them stuff that they're reading. They're like, wow, I never knew that. Oh, that's really cool. I mean, what did it say? That the usage of pharmaceutical drugs went from 2.7 pills per person, or 2.9 pills per person, down to 0.7 pills per person by taking CBD. That's a great slide. Guess what? I'm going to be posting that tomorrow. I'm going to be signing up 3 people from that slide alone, because everybody's on meds. So you guys got to get on those. And you know what I read the other day? I thought it was so funny. It said everybody knows what they're supposed to do with their health. They're supposed to drink more water, eat more fruits and vegetables, get their butts moving every day, stress less. They're supposed to be doing all these things. Why aren't they doing them? I thought, isn't it hilarious? It's so true. Like, it's just so simple what we need to do, but yet sometimes we're not doing those things. So part of it is kind of busting out of those old patterns that are kind of holding us in captivity. Like, we're too busy. And just to say, you know what, I'm going to just make a standing date with myself and my team every Wednesday, and I'm going to be on this corporate thing. Because you know what? If you're on it with your team, it's a lot less training you got to do with your team. It's a lot less text messages and phone calls that you have to take, because those questions will be answered in one of those webinars. I can almost guarantee it. So it'll be posted again tomorrow. Make sure that you get that out to your whole team, and make sure that next week you're on it yourself and you can recruit your team for it, because that's a very good thing to do. and
One of
screenshot.
those-
Is the easiest way to access them through YouTube?
Kathy, so here's the thing. If you haven't liked Kannaway's Facebook page, Kannaway has a Facebook page. You should go like
Yep.
it. And
Yep,
Echo
and I
Connection
have
has
that.
one too. Yep, Echo Connection has one too. So usually they post it on there with the webinars. You should be getting an email if you have your settings in your back office, your settings. If you like, some people don't receive emails. I'm like, you got to mark that you want to receive emails. And so I always get an email like, I don't know, I got it like this afternoon or whatever it was, that the event was tonight. But you could always just know it's standing. It never changes. Never, ever. Unless it falls on a holiday, it's Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Just know that's when it is. It's not like a shocker or a surprise. It's just always there. And so how you can access it is either go to the K-Way Global. A lot of times they'll do a live event. Like, so you can actually share it right from their Facebook page. I thought that was how it was going to be tonight. But what I think is maybe Titus pre-recorded that thing today, just because I couldn't go to Kannaway to do a watch party. So what that means is tomorrow it'll be posted. So how to access it is either through your email. You click on the Zoom link right on your email. You go to the Kannaway Facebook page. You click on that Zoom link. Do that like at 7:59. Boom, now you're in. Or the third way to access it is they always send it out at about between 1 and 3 p.m. the day after the event. So tomorrow you'll get it between 1 and 3.
Awesome.
But I encourage you guys, if you're able to get on it live, it's a good team bonding thing. It is. To say, hey, are you going to get on it? Are you going to get on it? Because at the end of the day, consistency is king in network marketing. If we're consistently doing the right activities, we're going to have success. And like I said, you're going to have a lot less questions being asked because they could learn from that one webinar, and it's a belief builder. That's all it is a belief builder. I get on and I build my belief, So, all right, so that's a great question. Any other questions about that Wednesday webinar? And again, if you haven't liked the Kannaway's Facebook page, you should do that, and along with the Echo Connections Facebook page. 2 really great Facebook pages that post really, really awesome things all the time. Tonight, I thought what would be great is to do a little bit of role playing. Many of you, if you haven't watched Scott and myself's B2B interaction that we did in the K-Way Global Group, you totally should do that. Especially if you want to go sign up any businesses to do the storefront for the $5,000 option. There's actually even a sheet. I think Scott might have made the sheet. It's actually a sheet that kind of gives you a checklist of what to do when you're signing up as a business to business. Have you guys seen that?
No.
No.
Can it be resent?
So what you should do is you should go into the K-Way Global Group and you should hit the word B2B in the search bar, just like I do 100 times a day. I only coach you guys to do exactly what I'm doing. So go in there and type in the word B2B, and what's going to happen is you're going to see the interaction between Scott and I. We role played, and then also if you do B2B, Scott actually posted a link with a sheet that is a checklist saying $5,000 minimum order. These are the different documents that they need when they're launching a storefront. He kind of made it cut and dry for people. So you have one visual clue and you have one hard copy clue. So make sure you guys
Renita's got a red sweater on that. That's how I always tell everybody.
Yep, I got a red
Renita's
sweater on that.
Sweater on that.
Good job. Yep, that's right. Red sweater with the orange hair. So the hair color changes every day now, every time I wash it. Anyway, okay, so let's do a little, what somebody had asked me is, Renita, can you do a little bit of role playing, like with people that, how that interaction goes if I'm talking to somebody, how I get to the point where I'm sending out my link to somebody. How does that happen with somebody? Like, how does that conversation play out? And I just do as I'm taught. I've realized a long time ago, if you follow a system, you'll make a lot of money. If you do your own system, you won't make that much. So I'm like, I'm going to follow the system. And the system is on the Art of the Invitation, we have to ask 2 questions. What are the 2 questions we ask, you guys? Does anybody know the 2 questions that we ask on the Art of the Invitation?
Have you heard about the health benefits of CBD?
Thank you. And
Your why?
Nope.
Do you want to know more?
Okay, so let's just practice the question together because this should roll off your tongue like your name. True story. What have you heard about the health benefits of CBD? Let's say it together. What have you heard
What have
about
you heard about the health benefits
CBD?
of CBD?
All I ask, if I talk to people, that's all I ask. It's nothing special. I'm not saying something special. It's that question.
Right.
If I know that somebody's sharp and they have a little bit of an entrepreneur spirit, or let's say they've been griping about their job to me, or they don't feel fulfillment there, what's the other question I ask them? Hey, what have you heard about the wealth that's being created with CBD? Let's say that together. Hey, what have you heard about the wealth that's being created with CBD? You guys better put pen to paper, and next week when we ask that should roll off your tongue, because that is how you get so proficient that it's not a guessing game. It's not like, what am I supposed to say? It's those two questions, and it's those two questions 8,000 times until you make $1 million and help 1 million people. That's what goes on here. This is a really easy system. We just got to implement it. Okay, so after those two questions, so let's do a little role playing. Who wants to role play? Who wants to be the volunteer with me tonight to role play?
I can do it.
Who said I can do it?
Chris.
Chris. I love you, Chris. You guys got a hot sports car today, huh?
Yes, we did.
I put Kannaway on that baby and read it off as a tax deduction.
I know, that's what I'm like, Doug, please let me.
We're not dummies. Like, we're no dummies. Anyway, Chris, so you and I just run into each other at the mall.
Yeah.
And let's say that you don't know anything about CBD, okay?
Okay.
And I'm going to talk to you, and let's say that you have migraines, okay?
Okay.
And so, hey, Chris, how's it going?
Hey, Renita.
What have you been up to?
Not a lot, just working.
How's work going?
Sucks.
Really? You don't like it?
No.
What don't you like about it?
Just the job itself.
Is it like hard? Do you have to work long hours? Like, what is it?
I work long hours, so my salary then becomes like below the
Yeah, salary base, they'll work you to the bone, baby. Well, Chris, I mean, what have you heard about the wealth that's being created with CBD?
I haven't. Well, I heard a lot of people are getting wealthy from marijuana.
Oh yeah. So this is kind of like the arch enemy, or like I would say like the anti-venom to marijuana. Marijuana gets people high with the THC, and CBD is actually really healthy, but it doesn't have those psychotropic effects. So it has a lot of healing benefits, but not necessarily the high components. So you don't feel lazy or hungry or those types of things. You just feel better. And so we've seen a lot of really great things. But Chris, do you know that it's going to go from 800,000? It was 800,000 last year, and it's going to go to $22 billion in the next 2.5 years. Have you heard about that growth that's happening with that? You should try to put your foot in the pond with that.
Well, how do I do that?
Well, you know what? I just happen to know, actually. I'm glad you asked. I actually partnered with this amazing company called Kannaway, and it's been a total blessing. I love it because they're super innovative. They love education. And Chris, I know how you love to educate people. You're such a great leader. And I think it would be really the challenge that you're looking for, but plus it's not salary. It's like they pay you. I feel like they pay you above and beyond. It's multiplication and duplication. If you find a couple people that want to share it with you and feel better and share that message with others, it's really an easy duplicatable business. There's a great app, and I know you're super tech savvy. So you probably would love the app and be able to operate better than I can. But the app is super slick. You can just send out the apps. And I mean, we've got a lot of people that just got started, and they're hitting fast start 3,000, 9,000, getting $1,000 bonuses. We've got several people on our team that have qualified for $2,500 monthly minimum income guarantee. How would an extra $30,000 a year come in, Chris? Would that be?
And I would get my own.
Oh, I can't hear you. What?
I said then I would get my own little sports car.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Chris, can I send you a couple links over real quick? I'm going to send you one about the opportunity, and then I'm actually going to send you a video called The Company of First.
Okay.
Check it out. I would love to partner with you. We'd have so much fun together. I know how you love to learn and grow and share with others, and who knows, it might just be that extra $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a year you're looking for.
Okay.
All right, I'll send it to your phone. Get a hold of me. Actually, I'll probably get a hold of you once you're done because I can actually see when you watch the video. I'll send you the video. I can see when you watch it. And then let's talk after you watch it, okay?
Yeah.
All right, sounds good. I mean, so that conversation was with somebody that I knew. I knew she was good at technology, right, guys? I know she's a great leader. I know she's overworked and underpaid. And so what am I doing? The first thing I do is I really try to get her into that emotion where she hates her job more. Did you notice that I did that? Any of you? What is it that you don't like about it? Because now she goes there emotionally, right? She's like, yeah, I freaking hate it. And when you get people going there emotionally, they kind of sit there for a second. And then when you pull them out of it and say, hey, there's something better, they're excited about something better, right? Did you see how that conversation shook down?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these conversations are like super simple. I mean, that was like we ran into each other at like Kohl's, and that's how that shook down. Chris was somebody I knew, right? So do we want to have some examples of people that you don't know? I mean, are a lot of you like targeting cold contacts, or who are you working with?
Mine are a lot of cold contacts, Renita, and I don't know how to drive the conversation. I struggle with that. I get it started. Like today, I handed out our card at the dealership. Every guy had it, and then I went to a facility where they do that cool sculpting. And they're ordering it on Amazon, and I talked to them about it. But as far as I don't get to where you get to. I just don't get to where you get to.
Well, the first thing I do is I come in with a ton of excitement, right? My energy is palpable when you're around me. Yeah. People will usually ask me, what are you on? I mean, that's a common question for me. I'm not kidding. and so, I mean, whatever you got to do to get jazzed up, like take extra CBD, do whatever you got to do to get jazzed up. So I go in there with pretty good energy. So the first thing I'd be doing is talking to the guy that I'd say, yeah, we're thinking about putting Kannaway in this car and making it a tax deduction. We're in a legal CBD business. I would just get that conversation going with my immediate guy. I wouldn't go hunt out the whole dealership. I would just get the guy that I'm buying the car from. You know what I mean? Because I'll get him so freaking fired up while we're driving on that test drive. By the time he gets back, he's going to be running around town all the buddies that they all need it for lowering their stress because they're all stressed out because they're all in sales. Sales is stressful for these guys, right? It's not an easy career field. I don't know. I think it just happens with asking the right questions, acknowledging where they're currently at. You know what I mean? Yeah. Finding those buttons that are, that we used to call it the form. Do you guys remember the form? Family, opportunity. Remember that? Recreation, money. You guys remember that? Might want to write that down. No. Family, occupation, recreation, money. So you're talking to the car dealer, and you're like, hey, I always have conversations with people. God, in fact, says to me, you get to know people better in 2 minutes than most people get to know in 2 years. And that's true. Because I just come in there like I care, because I actually do care. So I come in there and I would say to the car dealer, if he'd be in the car, I'd be like, oh, okay. Like, so do you have a family? How long you been a car dealer? Oh, I've been 27 years. Do you love it? You must love it. You've been here for 27 years. My gosh, you've outlasted 5 marriages. Like, And usually I get people laughing, because when you get people laughing, they let their guard down instantly. They put their hands down because they feel like they can trust you. Because you're real life. And then I would go in and say, if he says, yeah, it's all right, it pays the bills. Well, you must work like a ton, like evenings and weekends, because that's probably when you're selling the most cars, right? Yeah. That's when we sell the most cars. It's not like at 10 a.m. on Tuesday morning. We're selling the cars on like the evenings and the weekends. That's why they got to be there all the time. So, you must not be married then, right? Oh, no, I'm married. Oh, you must not have any kids then, right? Oh, no, I've got 4 kids.
Yeah,
wow. So, how do you make it to all of their sports? Working every night. See what I'm doing? Do you guys see how I talk through that? You got to get good at listening to people, and finding out those sweet spots on form, family, occupation, recreation, or money. What's their hot button? What's their driver? What thing's motivating them to say, I want more. I want to get out of here. I don't want to be here until I'm dead. Right? And
so the conversations I've been having lately, everyone thinks it's a drug, it's illegal or something. What would be your first response to that?
I'd be like, I totally know how you, so there's something, Nathan, called feel, felt, found. You guys should write this down. Feel Felt Found is really good, and I've used it for probably 12 years in most everything I've ever done. And I say, you know what? I know exactly how you feel. I mean, I felt the same way. My dad told us if we did drugs, he was going to kill us. He was a Marine, and there was like no drugs. He was anti-marijuana. So I totally know how you feel when you talk like that. I felt exactly the same way. But what I found now is that cannabis is the parent, and there's two kinds of basically hemp. One's marijuana, it's getting you high, and the other is hemp, and it just gets you healthy. There's no psychotropic effect. So what you do, Nathan, is you let them talk. You don't just say, don't talk so stupid, or no, don't even, you have to, people want to be heard. So you have to say, I totally know how you feel. And actually, I actually really do know how people feel, because I actually felt like that. I thought all cannabis was marijuana. Guilty right over here, you know? So
well, and on the farm, I actually grew hemp as part of the pilot project. So yeah, I've been through all kinds of informational meetings about it, and it's
so you
not
know
a drug.
99.9% more than the average cat.
Yeah, I do know a lot about it.
Well, here's what I'm going to tell you. Don't let them run over you in the conversation. The biggest thing I would say, because remember, when they have an opinion about marijuana, this is the truth. When people have an opinion about marijuana, it usually was taught to them very young, or they had a family member that struggled with an addiction. True story. That's what I find.
Hey,
The
Renita?
people that are the most highly opinionated, they were literally indoctrinated young, you know what I mean, with that fear mechanism, or they actually had a friend or a brother or a cousin who died of marijuana, you know, maybe not marijuana, but drugs, and they just classify it all in the same category. So they're kind of speaking from a soft point of emotional, so you have to kind of go with them for a second, you know, and say, I know how you feel. And I felt the same way, you know, and ask them, why is it that you feel like, you know, marijuana and hemp are the same thing? And let them talk. Because they'll tell you, well, you know, I had this cousin and he was always smoking weed and he ended up like being worthless and never getting a job. And, you know, they have this whole opinion. And that has framed, remember that when I did that Facebook Live with the glasses on, you got to take off the old glasses, put on the new glasses. People are all talking with their glasses on that they've been looking through for 27 years.
Hey, Renita.
Yeah.
Let's do a role play right now. Why don't you, I'll be whatever and you be the other, okay?
Okay.
And
Nathan,
somebody's
does that help
not.
you? Feel, felt, found. Did you write it down? I know how you feel. I felt the same way, but what I found out is, boom, tell them the difference.
Or,
Some education.
Makes sense.
I like to use, like I said before, the empathize, clarify, isolate, respond also.
Yeah. Feel, felt, found is easier to remember for me, just because it's been in my brain for
Oh,
so
come
many
on, rice backwards, Renita. Rice
Come on.
backwards.
I gotta get it, right? But I agree, empathizing with somebody and then going into that, you know, people just want to be heard. So don't stonewall them and just be like, run over them like a freight train. And I can do that sometimes with my temperament because I know so much. That's the truth about me. Ask Jacinta. She'll tell you. And so, right, Jacinta?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Can I just tell you something? I just love seeing Nathan's face. I've known about him his whole life growing up. He is my first cousin, one of my very favorite first cousin's son.
Wow.
Isn't that awesome?
It's like
And
a
that
family
just brought us
reunion.
around that I can finally talk to him.
It's so awesome. Yeah, Nathan, we're
Yeah.
proud of you for getting on and for sharing the message. You're doing
Absolutely.
awesome. Do you feel like CBD is helping your health, Nathan?
Honestly, no, not yet. Not yet. So.
Well, here's the truth. Sometimes, you know, what the gradual changes that you feel are gradual. And then when you go off of them is when you all go off of it is when you notice. And I find that to be really true with people with like a lot of like nerve stuff or things like that. They're like, I think it might be working. I'm not sure. It's not very drastic.
Just up your dosage, Nathan. That's what I say.
Yeah, I'd
Up
say
the dosage.
Are you taking 75 milligrams a day, Nathan?
No, 50.
Oh my gosh. Get that
Come
up
on,
to 100
Nathan.
or 125.
Get in the
Get that up
game.
to 100 or 125.
Well, right now I want to use the full spectrum products, but right now I'm in between jobs, and I don't want to drug test to throw me out of my next job.
Got it.
Gosh. Oh, I wish you could take full spectrum. That's what I think when I'm listening. I'm like, gosh, I think that would just totally bless you. That just that trace of THC to work with the
Hey,
nerves.
Renita, wouldn't you recommend maybe if try Humulus if you're trying the pure and you haven't felt results to try the Humulus?
Yeah, he could give Humulus a try. Nathan, have you tried that one yet?
I actually got a bottle because they were out of pure gold, so they sent me Humulus instead. I just started that one, but now it's out of stock and it has been for a while. So.
Well, I would say, you know, and here's what it is with your body. You kind of got to listen to your body and you got to shift. You're right, Nick. Like, you got to shift from, like, if something doesn't feel like it's working, because you should notice a little something. And I agree with Jacinta. I mean, I take 75 milligrams a day, and I have, no real symptoms other than kind of being wild. I realized today that if I don't take CBD, I am absolutely have crazy fleeting thoughts. I don't know if that's just me and my brain or if that's anybody, but I got a lot of crazy stuff going on in my head. And if I'm not on CBD, it's not good for me. So, Nathan, with that being said, I would say that if you can take 75 milligrams, up it, if anything. And once you get a job, I would talk to your job, your boss, and say, hey, listen, I want to get on this full spectrum product for my health. And it has this trace of THC in it, but it's from hemp and it's federally legal in all 50 states. And let him know
that's my plan, but I'm just not gonna let, like, before I even start my job, let's say they decide to drug me and I fail the drug test, then they won't hire me. Yep. I don't want that to
hold you back.
The factor where they don't hire me. So.
Yeah, and we're all going to be praying for you.
Yeah.
Everybody pray for Nathan that he gets an awesome job and that he has an awesome boss that is open-hearted and open-minded to Nathan being on the full spectrum, because I really think that's would even bless you even more. Honestly, that I think that. I just believe it.
Nathan, I just want to tell you, my brother's struggling with cancer. He has 57 tumors, and he's trying to make it to March 1st with the railroad. And he's taking a chemo that will take him to the depths of hell. He's on his way there. But I said to him, you can take the Humulus, and I sent him 2 bottles because I had some with a teaspoon, and I said, take 8 teaspoons a day. And when you get close to the second one running out, call me. I have another one. I'm going to send you another one. So you know what? When you have drastic things, you take drastic measures. And for you, Nathan, I would find someone with that Humulus, trade out a different product, because I know you ordered a big kit. I heard you say that. And I would ask someone if they can trade you for the Humulus, and I would take 2 to 3 teaspoons a day of that. Okay, that's my 2 cents.
Is the Humulus gonna be orderable again?
It is.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, I texted Samantha earlier about that tonight, because customer service has been saying any day, and then it's not in, and I'm like, when is it? And then actually Randy just said he reached out to Blake to find out exactly. Let me see if they got back to me. Not yet.
Renita.
Yeah.
Need any.
So I had a customer that ordered the Humulus back on February 2nd.
Yep.
And he's a U.S. Marshal, and he's been waiting to use it. And today, Kannaway customer service called him and said that the Humulus oil has been discontinued.
What?
I know. I had no idea, but that's what he was called by a customer service representative and said that that's what's going on. And they wanted to ask him if he wanted a replacement product or if he wanted a refund.
I just texted that to Randy. Just hang on a second. We'll hold tight to that one.
Well,
yeah, it's off.
I just texted Samantha a day ago, and she said she thought it was going to be coming back in stock yesterday.
Right.
Oh.
I'm going to tell you, unless you're talking to the customer service person, Ann, the rest of them, I'm not sure of.
I was going to say I've gotten some mixed information and some inaccurate information from a couple of them.
It could be. And like, you know,
Yeah.
Sometimes when I call customer service, I just ask for Ann. Can I please speak to Ann? Like, right, Jacinta?
Yeah, or Jane.
It's not on the site
Jane.
anymore.
Jane. What did I say? Ann? Jane.
Yeah, you said Ann. You mean Jane.
That's what I
What
meant.
about Jonathan?
Well, there's like 2 of them that are good. Scott talks to a guy and I talk to Jane, and she is like English. You can't miss her. She's got like an English accent. She's like the head of customer service now.
Yeah.
Is Octavio not there anymore or what?
He's there. He's doing something else. I think they sent him over to Europe to get the customer service under wraps in Europe. So he was gone for like ever. So we don't deal as much with him anymore because he's helping Europe customer service as well.
So
Has anybody taken a drug test with the full spectrum in the team at all?
And what
seen
did
if it
what were the
passed?
results?
Yeah. What were
Yeah,
the
I haven't
results?
taken I just have the cheap drug test that I bought online. And I take them all the time and I test positive. And so does Scott and so does Truett, my 12-year-old.
But you guys do more of the paste than the gold, right?
We do paste. Oh, are you asking about the gold?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my son Bo takes the pure gold, and he was actually drug tested out at NDSU which was really like, it was all the throwers, and the only runner that got tested was Bo. I was like, I think that was profiling Bo. But anyway, because they see him talking about CBD, and his friends are like, you're going down, you're on CBD. So he had that drug test over 2 weeks ago now. It was like maybe 18 days ago. And he had to pee, in the morning, early in the cup. And I said, he was nervous. He's like, but Mom, I think I'm going to pass. He's like, I don't take a full spectrum product. I actually had been to Fargo 2 weekends in a row, and he stayed with me in the hotel. And I only had full spectrum with me. So he took a capsule each weekend when he stayed with me in the hotel. And I was like, oh my gosh, Bo, like you took 2 full spectrum capsules. And he's like, I'm not worried, Mom. So
God, if they took Humulus away?
I don't know if they did yet. I just texted Randy. I'll let you know. Anyway, and so long story short, they say that you'd get the results. They say if you don't hear back anything that the drug test was negative, well, Bo hasn't heard anything back. And so they say you have that within 14 days. And so I'm assuming, God willing, he's testing negative, but he hasn't had any premium product other than the 2 premium capsules I had. He was taking pure gold. That's what he has in his dorm room. So I said, well, you know what? You're probably not going to get drug tested again, so you probably could stay on that. I said, but I'll give you a bottle of Humulus. And so he's been taking the Humulus now. So.
Well, the pure gold has non-traceable amounts of THC in it, correct?
I know, but what we realize about the drug test is it's depending on where they're drug tested, it's a really outdated drug test in a lot of states. And so what happens is a lot of these drug tests doesn't differentiate between CBD and THC. It just picks up all the cannabinoids. And so what Randy Schrader said is if anyone would test positive taking the pure gold, if they would test positive, he would personally, financially pay for them to get another drug test done that actually is like a legit drug test, not like some generic cheap drug test, like a real drug test. Where they're like, because there's like levels of drug testing that you can do. He said, because honestly, if they did a real drug test where they laid out the panel saying, hey, was it CBD, was it THC, there's going to be no THC in their system, Renita.
Well, the thing is that where I worked, for a long time, they tested for certain things too. They don't test for everything. So they test for the drugs, and that's, I think people get over worried because they should, because it's something like, who wants to prevent themselves from bettering their life because of a drug test preventing them from doing that, right?
Right.
So I get that. And it's really a shame that we're at this position in our country where we have to be like this.
I think it's going to change, Nick. I
know it will, but it's not changing fast enough. And
no, I agree, but you got to remember, just the Geneva, Switzerland World Health Organization convention's coming up. I think next week. I think it's the first week of March. And when they deschedule it, when they take it completely off the Schedule 1 drug list, everything's going to have to change. Not only is legislation changing in the states, like I said to our legislators, you guys don't even know the difference between hemp and marijuana. How do you expect our law enforcement would know the difference? And so I was talking to Titus, and I was like, in Canada they have a thing where when the cops come up to the thing, they actually will test like with some kind of, I don't know what it is, some kind of instrument to differentiate if something is marijuana or hemp-based. Like they can tell that already. So that exists in other countries. We're just really behind the 8 ball with so much because it's been illegal for so long.
Well, because they want it to be illegal so they can make money off of big pharma.
There's no question.
The reality.
There's no question. I mean, and the more that's being exposed, the more I believe that with all my heart, that it's like they're holding it back because they know the potential that it could help so many people in so many conditions.
Yeah,
You know?
my brother-in-law, we're in Florida, and he works high security on the base. He's retired Navy and works a high security job. He even got a message today that said, if anybody has any stocks, marijuana stocks, or if your investment person has even invested in marijuana stocks for you, anything, cannabis, you will lose your high security clearance.
Wow.
Oh wow, that's
Wow.
So I would go to the media with that garbage.
Right?
That-
It's all communist.
It is.
Effing communist.
We need to go negative really quick on this, can't we?
Right?
Like, I know I can because I just, my
It'll
skin
change.
crawls when I
I'm
learn
in
about the.
agreement like that too. It will change. I said to Kyle, it's just like the huge tsunami when the wave pulls back. And right now the wave is back, but it's going to break.
Yeah, and that's why I'm like, we need more people rallying for the cause than ever. This is not the time to back down and buckle under fear.
Right.
This is not the time. I'm wondering, is somebody on here? Let's see. Rhonda Esslinger.
Yes,
Where are you at?
I'm here.
Or is your face on? Rhonda, I want to talk about not buckling under fear with this woman for a second. She is kicking butt and taking names out of Falkirk Mine. Rhonda, did you sponsor 9 people today? I couldn't keep up with the likes and welcome to the team.
Well, right now I was on the phone and I just got a girl on Colstrip, Montana, do the full package. She's going to do the business.
Rhonda, let's talk to you for a second. I don't know if you guys saw last night. Rhonda was at the meeting down at Dickey's. You work out at the mine. Do you live in Underwood?
I live in Garrison.
You live in Garrison.
Yep.
And so Rhonda, you are on fire. You are on fire. Like, how many people have you sponsored since you started?
Right now I'm counting 12, 13. I got about 2-3 more people to get a hold of tonight.
I mean, I've
actually been listening to you and talking and texting on my phone.
Yeah, that's called killing 2 birds with 1 stone. So listen, I want you, and you're in the middle of a thing because at your workplace, tell them what shook down a little bit, because Rhonda is going in there and educating like the people at her job. And I said, fortunately, as soon as it crosses over, because the crossover in the state for the 1113 bill, which I need everybody, all hands on deck when that bill goes to the Senate, we all better be up at the state capitol that day. I'm just going to tell you the truth. We need to be here in case something shakes down where we have to speak and talk about hemp. And so anyway, Rhonda, tell them what you're doing and tell them what you're going through and tell them how you're sponsoring all these people.
Well, I went into human resource because I know they're against THC. So I told him what I was doing. I was taking CBD Humulus. And he kind of gave me that look, and then I brought it out, showed him exactly what was it in Humulus. So then he sent it off to our drug testing guy that's at Sanford. Well, it got sent back that it is Schedule I drug. And I said, you're wrong, Randy. You need to educate Sanford because Renita went to the Capitol. I said, and hemp has passed. It is not illegal. CBD is not illegal. Then I told him, should I call the doctor and get it straightened out? And he says, no, I'll do that. Well, on Friday, he sent a letter and he never got it straightened out. So I went to my boss, which we have many out there, and I asked if he went to human resource. And he said he did, but he wouldn't listen to him. So now it stands at, or human resource said, well, that's what the doctor said. So now I'm not done. You know, he told me you go back in there. So I'm going to go back in there. I'll go to the president.
And if you need me to come with you, call me.
Oh, I will.
I love those guys up at the mine. They used to hire me to do presentations. We'll get them all on CBD.
Yeah, they need to be. Well, there's a lot of them out there that are on CBD now, and that's why a flag came up. So I thought, I'm going into human resource.
Yeah, you're going right to the top. So listen, Some people would be so buckled under fear. Listen to hearing that story, it would make they'd be so nervous. And meanwhile, you're like, I gotta go sponsor 4 more people. Awesome. You know, this is the kind of vision that you need to get. I tell you guys, it's like that movie. It's like Hacksaw Ridge. I gotta go get one more, you know?
Well, you know what I did the other night, Renita? I was in Walmart and the little old grandma had to help me and I could tell the excruciating pain in her face. And I looked at her, I got kind of teary. I said, you need CBD oil. And she goes, well, I'm not good on the computer. I got a hold of the daughter. The daughter called me today, and I walked her through everything. I just looked at the pain in her face.
Okay, are you guys hearing what this woman is doing?
When I see it, I just say it, no matter where I'm at.
You're just like me.
At work, I heard a guy talking about diabetes is really heavy, and we're in a big lunch area out there. I looked at him. I said, hey, you need to be on CBD. He'd come over, got all the information, and I sent it to him. I listen for anything.
So kind of like driving an applicator down to somebody in the hospital that really needs it, and their doctor won't let them take it. Kind of like that.
Nick, I can't even tell you the conversation I had about that today with Jacinta. I was cursing. I was like, what is going on? If I'd be the family member, I'd just be rubbing it in that guy's mouth. You know what I mean? It's like, what are we waiting for here? But, okay, good job, Nick, on that one, by the way. Rhonda,
Absolutely.
you're a force. You're a force. Watch for Rhonda. She's like the black horse coming up the backstretch here.
I keep it going. I get off of work. Renita, I'm at work. I'm on my break. I'm doing it. I get my next break. I'm doing it. I come home. I'm on this phone till midnight. 1 o'clock sometimes. I get up at 4 o'clock for work. I'm on it. My break again. I'm on it all night. I don't stop.
But guess what? You're doing that for the first year, and then you'll be able to sit on your loins a little bit because you have a team built, or what?
No, I'll just keep going.
No, she's a workaholic. You know what I always say? Find a workaholic and teach them the skills. They'll take it to the moon and back. And, especially if you find a workaholic that has a good heart like Rhonda, where they see people in pain and they want to say something. Some people say people in pain, they never say a damn word. I'm like, open your mouth and help them. I'm the same way. I'm at Target, and when I see somebody in pain, they got the wrist wrap on. I'm like, oh, what's wrong with your wrist? Oh, I got carpal tunnel. I work 80 hours a week at Target, pushing the thing. I'm like, you know what? You might need CBD. They're like, what is that? I mean, just talk it out loud. Like, start opening your mouth and helping people. Like, the worst thing they can say is, I don't want CBD. Okay. Like, okay, next. You know what I mean? If you do, let me know. I'm right here. So, Rhonda, I just want to commend you. You're just kicking butt and taking names. Amongst all the turmoil, I realize, an airplane does the best against the wind. So the truth is that little bit of pushback that you're having from work, I feel like is giving you more fire than ever. I don't feel like it's slowed. Some people with paralyzed, it literally has poured fuel on your fire because you're like, I'm going to the head honcho to tell them what it's all about.
They know I say what I think, and I don't know if they really like me because I come right out there. I don't push around the bush or whatever. I go straight to it.
Yeah, and you're doing awesome.
Well, the thing about leaders, not everybody likes leaders, but they respect them because they do what followers won't do.
Right.
Yeah.
I had to stop. I had to leave and sign somebody up.
Oh, you see what I'm talking about? It never stops. It never stops.
All day today. It's been crazy.
Yeah, it's the $1 sign up. We got 24 hours. If there's ever a reason you should reach back out to somebody, it's between tonight and tomorrow at midnight, because if you talk to somebody 3 months ago, 4 months ago, 7 months ago, last week, you can call them and say, listen, we got 12 hours left of this $1 sale. Do you want to save $55 or not? Let's go. Let's get you started. Right. And remember when we talked about certainty? I've been listening to that one guy. Did any of you listen to the assignment from last week that I asked you to listen to?
Yes.
I did not.
Marshall Silver?
Thank you. Some of you I'm going to bite in the calf. Okay, listen. You got to listen to Marshall Silver. What did Marshall Silver say? Who listened? Who said yes?
I did.
Diane, what did you think, Diane, about Marshall Silver?
It was great. I mean, I watched him and a couple other ones that he had on there.
Yeah.
Tony Robbins. I watched that one that Jacinta sent me to about the
relationships.
The relationships and all those different things to go through. But he was good. He was really good.
Yeah. And he basically says when you talk too, you talk with certainty. When you don't say, well, you don't even ask the questions. You just talk with certainty, because when you talk with certainty, people think that you know what you're talking about.
Right.
You know what I mean? And even if you say something a little bit wrong, if you're delivering it with certainty, it can't be that wrong. You know what I mean? It can't be that wrong. If you, like I said, you guys don't even understand the superpower that you have right now, how you know 90 to 95% more than the average consumer about CBD and the endocannabinoid system. Just because you've plugged into Kannaway, you've listened to Titus, you've listened to a couple of my webinars, you guys literally are like the cream of the crop right now. You know more than the majority of the doctors in our country currently know.
Hey, Renita, how much value do you see in becoming ECS certified?
I got it, but I sponsored 120 people before I got it, so I didn't need it. Like, I just got it because I had signed up for it. I thought, well, I spent the money, I'm going to do it. And it helped me because, I mean, here's the truth. It's not duplicatable. Some people can barely afford to get in with a junior kit for $6.99, Nick. So do I want to tell them to spend extra money on something like an endocannabinoid system certification? Not necessarily. You know what I mean? I want them to become, I want them to go through the tools that we have. Sometimes we got to be careful because even a great thing like becoming endocannabinoid system certified can become a distraction. Because now you're not getting on the Wednesday webinars. Now you're not looking at the tools in the back office or watching the videos or, you know, listening to the training from Randy because now you're getting endocannabinoid system certified. Now, if it is a
I just know that every CBD shop that I've walked into, that's like the first thing that they say because they're really proud of it. So I just wanted to get your take on that.
That they're endocannabinoid system certified?
Oh yeah, they throw that out there like a doctor with a PhD, you know?
I'd ask him to see the proof.
Yeah. First of all, it's an online certification.
Right.
I mean, it was great. Don't get me wrong.
Well, it's just a marketing
Yeah, it was
strategy. I'm just letting you know
mind-blowing,
what they're
information.
saying to get people's like. So that's like going to a plastic surgeon that has a PhD or just has a backyard certification. You know what I mean? So it's just building, in their minds, they're building trust with customers that they don't know right away because they have a certification. You know what I mean?
Well, here's what I'm going to tell
Or they're
you.
lying.
But here's what I'm going to tell you. Just by putting that out there, like we could test pilot it. I'm endocannabinoid system certified. I could go find that document. I could put it on social media tonight. I can tell you if I sign anybody because of it. You know, at the end of the day, it's not that piece of paper that is going to get people to buy from you. What's going to get people to buy from you is like if you're going Facebook Live and you're sharing your story and you're talking about the difference between hemp and marijuana and you're giving some, remember, people buy value. They want something from you. Are you giving your people anything? You know what I mean? And then there's this fine line between giving them something and then giving them too much where they click off because now they're getting too much. There's a fine line there too. And so in marketing, I just think to myself, you gotta kind of think about, like, I don't know, if you're in the healthcare profession and you think, God, I just love endocannabinoid system. I don't care if I ever make $1 with this. It's not going to be a distraction. Hey, go get endocannabinoid system certified. It's totally your life and your business.
Well, what made you get it in the first place? Because you have it.
The reason I got it is I have 22 years in health. I didn't know a lick. I thought all cannabis was marijuana. And so I felt like I was so naive, and anybody I talked to, the first 30 people I talked to had no idea what the endocannabinoid system was. So I immediately Googled endocannabinoid systems certifications. I'm like, is there a certification? Because one thing I do have is I have 25 health and fitness and nutrition certifications. I just love getting certifications because I don't have to go to school for very long, and I can get a big chunk of knowledge all at once. And so I found that one, and I thought, okay, I'm going to get that certification. Well, then I got buried in my business because it was a rocket ship without the certification. That's the truth. And by the time I sponsored 120 people, I thought, well, I better go back in now and get this endocannabinoid system certified. I learned more about the endocannabinoid system from listening 2, 3, 5 of Dr. Titus's videos.
Oh,
if you just
gosh.
Google Dr. Titus,
Yeah.
just Google Dr. Titus and watch
Right.
every
No,
video.
I completely agree with you. I just like the discussion because it will.
There was a
come
lot
up.
of good information in that, though.
There was a lot of information. Has the price gone up? Have any of you looked at that recently?
$50.
It was 50.
It was so cheap when we did it.
Yeah.
it was
I
$50.
will
Supply and demand, it's probably 500 now.
Yeah, let me just answer that question, Nick, just from someone, regular human being and not Renita. I did that certification too, but I will tell you that certification didn't help me sign up one person. I just signed up everybody with the knowledge of all the other videos I had watched. The certification didn't help me sign anybody else up.
You didn't, Jacinta, you didn't tell people that you had it though, did you?
I am just starting to say now I'm CBD certified. I do say that, but I can just tell you, looking back, building my business, that didn't help me build my business. What really helped me, I was over at my niece's house tonight here in Florida. She does billing for 15 different lawyers, one that gets $2,500 an hour. He's a corporate lawyer. And I talked to her, and I knew she was so against network marketing, but I also knew she had, she suffers from anxiety and has taken something. And when I left, she was so excited about having a solution for her anxiety and liking the money part of it too. But here's what she said to me. She goes, gosh, you just know so much. And I said, it was really easy. I just listened and I watched videos and listen and videos. That was my business training.
Well, and you use the product, right? So proof is in the
Absolutely.
pudding.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Should I tell you how many videos? So here's a kind of a funny thing. Over the weekend, our minivan is getting fixed because the seat is broke, and so they gave us this Jeep Cherokee, and we drove to South Dakota, and it has XM radio or whatever that's called, Sirius radio, or I don't even know what it's called. And we honestly, I don't. And we listened to like 80s and 90s the whole way. And Scott goes, "Do you know what we haven't done for 15 months? Listen to any music."
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. All we do is listen to webinar after webinar. Like if you come to our house, if you hear me in the bathroom getting ready, if anything that I'm doing, I have something playing in the back. I could be signing people up. I have something playing in the background constantly. I'm constantly intaking because then I think, oh, I'll take that tidbit. Like tonight when I learned that the average American's on 2.9 medications, and when they get on CBD, they go down to 0.7. I'm going to ride that like the wave in Australia on that one movie with the surfboarders. I'm going to ride that fact
Like the donkey.
like a wave tomorrow. Watch me. I'll sign up 10 people tomorrow with that fact. I just get a nugget. I get a nugget and I frickin' drill it home. That's what I do. And so it's not that I even listen to all hour or 2 hours of, it's just a nugget in there. Pam, I shouldn't say no to endocannabinoid system certification. Pam Kostelecki wouldn't be in our business if it wasn't for that certification, because I had reached out to Eve, but then I kind of dropped the ball, and all of a sudden I went and got endocannabinoid system certificate. I remember where I was running at BSC. The first module, for those of you that took the certification, do you remember what it was? The ocular system. I remember.
Oh, that's right.
It was the ocular system was the first system they talked about, how it was part of the endocannabinoid system because the receptors are in the eyes. I stopped running at the BSC Bowl, and I texted Eve Kostelecki again, and I said, Eve, you've got to do CBD, because it increased my belief enough to hit her again. And then all of a sudden she got back to me, and then Pam Kostelecki, her daughter's in the business, her mom's in the business, and I love Pam. So was it a win for me? If the only thing I got out of that deal was Pam being one of our team members, I guess it was worth it. Go get endocannabinoid system certified. I don't know. If you feel like that's what you need to talk with more confidence, do whatever it takes. You know, just don't let it take away from action.
I don't feel like I need it, Renita, but I'm just telling you what the other people are doing. So I was just bringing it up as a talking point.
Sure. You know, one thing I really like, did you guys see what the rejuvenation place is doing? Adam and those guys are not on here because I know they have bowling on this night. But anyway, when they go and have like a team meeting, they have a chalkboard with all of their employees that are actually on their team, and they have, whether they have 1, 2, or 3, how many they have left to get faster qualified. They're like, there is not one team member that's getting left behind. What do you need, honey? I don't have it. We don't. He said, we're not leaving one brand ambassador behind. We're not leaving one single, it's on the counter to it. Anyway, he said, we're not leaving one brand ambassador behind. And I love that, because he's like not making it about them. He's like giving them a goal. It's a visual goal. It's a chalkboard with his team's names on it. They're fired up every time they get another person. They put on the chalkboard. They celebrate the heck out of it. I love that kind of team rally. And, you know, these guys aren't endocannabinoid system certified. They're just going live and talking about their product experience, you know, and they're loving it. I mean, that team too is on fire. Everybody's hitting 3,000, 9,000. Everybody's hitting everything. And they're about to take a big chunk of Minneapolis because they got a big rhododendron field scale going in from down there. So,
yeah, and I just, you know, but things change over time, right? So when you got into the business, there wasn't retail spots popping up every block.
There was a little bit of that. There's always kind of been that with our team out in Oregon, Portland, like out that side of the country, California. It's been legal there for quite a while, you know, even recreational. Down in Denver, we have a great team, a small little team, but the great team down in Denver. So they've had it out of the gates where they were competing with those storefronts, but that's where you have to know that quality matters, and we're talking the company first. I'm not trying to get just consumers. You guys know that about me? I don't want to just sign up 10 more consumers. I don't want that. Do you know why? Because the market, if you are only marketing to get customers, you have a lot more difficult business than I have. Because what you're doing is you're trying to always do cost comparisons, side-by-side comparisons. I don't do that. My person that I target looks drastically different than just a product consumer, okay? Because a product consumer, they're willing to go into a store and pay $100, $110, $130, $90, $160, whatever the price is. They're willing to pay that and not bat an eye. I'm looking for the person who wants the highest quality CBD for free. That's a different person than someone who just wants to go drop the cash every month. You know, I mean, you won't get rich just signing up customers in this business. It'll be difficult. You need to find people like yourself that want to make money and spread the message and are looking at launching a business. And I mean, that's just what it comes down to. And that's why convention is so powerful.
And that's great. You know, I completely 100% agree with that. But at the same time, you know, there's got to be some direction and some focus on just helping the people. And even if they aren't maybe going to be a big business producer, like maybe they could still use it and they can help themselves. You know what I mean? So a lot of the times what I've seen in sales is people start using something, they get belief in it, and then they'll want to sell it themselves, you know?
Absolutely.
Right.
And so here's the deal. When you guys first get started, when you have 2, 3, 5 people, it's very easy to keep track of that. 20 people is easy to keep track of, right? Is Jacinta still on this, or did you hop off?
I'm on.
Jacinta, the more people you have on your team, is it easier or harder to keep track of people?
Harder.
We have a notebook with, you got to keep, it's harder.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, you basically have to have sub layers, right? You have to have people that have like your legs, right? That have the focus of certain parts of your team, like a supervisor or like managers beneath you, right?
No, I'm gonna tell you this though. Sometimes people you can tell somebody who needs the lift up, like, you know, reach down, pull them out of the pit. I know you can tell those people, and I'm a lot like I feel like I can do that with anybody. But the truth is if all of a sudden that person becomes your full-time job, that's when it becomes a problem, because they have all the resources to plug into on Kannaway Global, Echo Connection, all those things. But if you're spending all your time nursing that one person, I'm going to tell you, you'll be out of business. And I love serving others, and I love being a servant leader. That's just what Scott and I do. I mean, you should see our text messages, emails, and call logs in a day. Then you know what we do. It's actually remarkable. And I'm thankful that God has given us the time and energy to do it. But the truth is if I spent every time with just the product consumers, I could not go out and help 1 million people by myself. I need an army of people that want to make money and are not as scared to make. And you don't have to apologize. I listened to Ed Milet, and listening to my friend Mark McDonald changed my life. Because here's the truth. For years, I poured my life in fitness into people. I gave everything away for free. Because you know what? I was so passionate about the cause. I was so passionate about people being well. And to this day, I give things for free. I go talk at schools and educate youth, 300 kids at once for free. Sometimes I do it for free. A lot of times I do it for free. I'm always doing things for free, you know, all the time, whatever people need me to do. And so.
Well, the return will be there, you know, so that's.
But the truth is when you do that, eventually you have to have a balance where you're making money to pay your bills. I mean, that's just the truth. If not, if you are doing a network marketing business and you actually think you want to make money and you're just doing everything, you know, like for free and serving all those people that are really not plugging into the tools, they're just being needy with you, you're eventually going to be out of your network marketing business. I'm just going to tell you the truth.
Something, Renita?
Yes, go ahead.
So, you know, in my experience, there's people who feed you and people who need you. And it's important to find that balance of both of those.
Yes.
The same person, because the person who's always going to be needing you is going to drain you so much that you just have nothing left to give to that next person. So really you are, we want to serve people. That's, I think, why we're all here. To a point where they have to want it for themselves too. And, you know, and in a way, it's almost our responsibility as well to have those kinds of boundaries so that they can be honest with themselves and know when they need to step up. And sometimes it just kind of needs to, like, from what I found, is, you know, taking a step back sometimes, giving them the tools that's there, making that agreement on what they're going to do, the action, and seeing if they're following through or not, you know. And I think that's kind of a simple way to see, you know, whatever it is their goals are and what they're willing to do to get there.
Well, I appreciate that, you know, and I ask a lot of these questions that might be, you know, stupid to some people that have been in an MLM for a long time, but I joined January 5th.
Not
and every business that I've been a part of has been corporation, brick and mortar. It hasn't been a direct sale business. So
yeah,
there's just different strategies.
Yeah, I think it's just in a life strategy for me as well. I mean, just business as well. Like you said, at the end of the day, money does matter. And you're
that it does.
And by just pouring in all to that one person, I think the burnout's going to be there, truly. And, you're going to throw your hands up and quit and like, gosh, you know what, that is just, and that's been my personal experience. I've heard that from others. So it comes as a balance, business and professional wise and personally
Well, I had to tell my own sister, I said, if you don't want to do this and you don't believe in your own brother, then I'm done talking to you about it. And I'm going to go talk to somebody else, so I get that. I'm trying to balance and make sure that, maybe there's somebody on my team that doesn't mind putting in that little bit extra time with these people that I can shift them to. You know what I mean? Like, to still make sure that somebody that really could benefit from the product gets it. Because that, to me, that is the number one goal.
Yeah, but here's the number one goal. I can sense the frustration, and even in the tone of your voice and how you're talking tonight, Nick. I can sense the frustration. Trust me, you're a jovial guy. You're happy-go-lucky. You're a jokester. You're an awesome human being. And so what's happening is I've always said it's hard to run uphill when you got 10 bags on your back. You know what I mean? At a certain point, you decide who's going to run with you, arm in arm, running with you, and then the business becomes a lot more fun. Jacinta experienced this just this last week, right, Jacinta? Or at Dickie's Barbecue. She came to Dickie's Barbecue last week with a couple people, and tell them what happened, because that was powerful for you to say that, and then you got to Florida, and you're like, Renita, this is so much fun. Do you remember?
Which there was a lot that happened. Which do you want me to talk about?
No, I wanted you to talk about the 2 girls that showed up and how fired up they were, and they all got in with Big Mac Daddy kits.
Yeah. So, yeah, and it just, what happens is you're just helping so many more people. So I have one gal that signed up quite a few months ago. She took the challenge on to get Fast Start qualified in the 30 days. She took that extra challenge. And she's so excited just to have some time freedom. I mean, she and her husband both make good money, but she's like, I'm kind of tied to this job, and I've got 2 kids now. And she's tried different things, and her husband has supported her on a side gig because she is a beautician, and she also is a massage therapist, and she manages a big place in Bismarck that handle booth rent for both those things. So, but right now, I didn't even see this till afterwards at the meeting. She told Kyle, and I'll just say, I just love her. I thought she was going to be one of my daughter-in-laws, but it turned out my son was such a shit, and she didn't turn out to be my daughter-in-law. But anyway, so now I get to work a business with her, and Kyle and I just love her. And she said to Kyle before she left the meeting, she said too, I'm going out to sign 20 people up. And so it's just been so great for her. She just always says, okay, what's my next step? Literally, Kyle and I really can't imagine what you and Scott do, because Kyle and I we're kind of on break right now, relaxing and rejuvenating and getting ready for our regular business coming up in May and June. And we just elected to stay in Florida for a while because it was even cold back in Arizona where our house is. And so we've just been hanging out at my sister's. And for this, is it Wednesday today? I don't even know. Wednesday. So literally for 3 days, we get up and we are just on our phones constantly, sending texts and guiding these 2 girls who I bet within 4 months will be at 2,500. And that's really exciting for us.
It's really exciting.
I appreciate that, and Renita, I don't want you to think that I'm negative, because I'm one of the most I'm one of the most opposite from negative people. Everyone always thinks I'm mad because the way I speak.
No, trust me, we know you're not negative.
Yeah, we know that.
So, but what I would say is then what I'm trying. So yeah, I'm a little frustrated. I had a little training I had a training last night that I'm trying to help my team, and I had 3 people on there, right? So I'm just trying to figure out different ways to engage people that have full-time jobs.
Let me just give an example. I don't have like any extra time. As soon as I get off this, I got to freaking do 14 hours of continuing education. I might be up all night. I have no extra time, 0 extra time, none. But on Tuesday night, I've elected to go to Dickie's Barbecue because I want to help my team to grow, because people don't want to open up their homes. I want them to have a central meeting place. The first week we had Dickie's Barbecue, I think we had.
When our teams grow, we grow.
Yep. Exactly. 8 or 9 people showed up the first one, and we were counting kids. You know what I mean? And I was almost like, where the hell's my team? Like, why aren't they here? And I had a little frustration. I'm like, nope, just do the next right thing. Take a deep breath, be positive, take more CBD, knock it off, Renita. Like, everybody's busy and it's 25 below. And next week we had it again. Maybe 12 or 13 people showed up. Again, we're counting kids, so it was not a big event. Last night at Dickie's Barbecue, I think we had 54 people. I think there was 54. Scott didn't count.
Oh, wow. That's insane. That's incredible.
That's after 6 weeks. Now, listen, I could have quit after week 1 because I kind of wanted to. I could have quit after week 2 because I kind of wanted to. It's not fun, to go there and when no one especially brings gas and there's not a new energy, because there's something good about good new people. It's just, there's an energy about it. But what has happened?
Well, basically, if you could do if there's no one there, you might as well send them a video,
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt. But here's what I know. Nothing beats community. It's a stage of healing. I know that about being a health coach and a life coach, is that when people get in a community, they heal. And so what happened is they come now and they have a personal testimony. And every week we have people standing up talking about their personal testimony about how it's helped them. I don't even have to really share any of my own stuff. I just say, hey, what's your name? Why are you here? Last night I couldn't ask that because there was too many people there. We'd have been there till midnight. And so I just had a handful of people, 5, 6 people say their name, why they're there. The belief is up in the room already. My mom said to me, calls me this morning, she goes, I'm going to start bringing people with me to Dickie's because those stories are so good. And I'm like, you should, Mom. So what's happening is it's like this contagious energy that happens where people come together and they're hearing stories and their real life stories of people getting well. And it's just moving the whole thing. I said to my brother, Randy, because he owns Dickie's, I'm like, hey, we need both of those things opened up. So I think next week we'll probably have 75 people. But what I've done, I know the power of consistency with my body, with my health, and with my business. And if you are consistent in any one of those things, you will have great success. If you are inconsistent, I can't help you. It's like saying I'm going to go to South Dakota and you drive 20 miles an hour, then you drive 90, then you drive 10, then you drive 70, then you drive 5. I have a harder time working with that people. I can work with them, but it's more difficult for me. I'm like, when I say to you guys again, hey, how many of you watched the thing tonight with our corporate thing? I just think all of you should raise your hands and say, yes, I was on it. Because I feel like it's part of the process. And if you're not, then I'm like, what are you doing?
So, Renita, then I have one other follow-up with, in regards to training people on your team that are BAs, okay? I know that you do a million live videos and you do this on Wednesday nights, but do you have any other time where you have a set time, or do you just work through them all individually or through others?
Today, Scott and I did 4 new member orientations individually. We do every one individually. I got home from the news. I immediately went to a new member orientation the moment I slid into the house. I literally, my goal was to do 100 new member orientations. I think I'm at 117. My goal is 10 to 15 new member orientations a week individually. I signed the gal up today, the one that I did the new member orientation with. I signed her up yesterday. Within 48 hours. My new goal is to catch them actually within that 48-hour limit. Do you know why? It says it on the thing.
Right, the getting started
I realized
guide.
in life, if it says do this, if it says jump like this and squeeze your hands in the air and you'll make $1 million and you're going to help
Simon says,
I'll do it. I don't veer from that anymore. I don't think I want to go make my own system. I don't want to make my own system. I've been 11 years trying to create a system. I found a system that works. If you follow it, it works. If you don't follow it, why don't you follow it? What's the problem? I don't know.
Are those all people that you personally enrolled, or are these people that have been enrolled throughout your team?
The ones that I've done is I like to empower my major leaders to stand on their own 2 feet. So for example, Elena, you're an example. I did my first new member orientation with Elena pretty quickly after she signed up. She went to an event, got home from the event, we did the new member orientation. Recently, I was supposed to do a new member orientation with her because she called out and reached out to me. We never really got to the new member orientation because we had other questions that were going on in that mix, but I felt like it ended up good. Right,
it was
Elena?
great. She went Fast Start qualified today. One of her enrollees is going to go Fast Start. Her other brand ambassadors is going Fast Start. She's going for 3,000. It was great.
So a big thing that I do is if you're personally enrolled by me, and even if you're not, here's the truth. our hours are consumed with our personally enrolled people. We could just consume our lives with those people. But what's happening on our team is we have some people that are sponsoring people 6, 7, 8 levels deep, and then they're not taking care of their people. And it is bothersome to me. I'll just be honest with you. I don't like it. Because it makes me a typical network marketer. You sponsor somebody and you let them set, and I don't like that.
Well, and that's why I'm asking all these questions, because I don't want to be that guy, and I've never been a part of this before. So I want to make
your individual first ones, and don't do it as a group, because people don't want to be real honest in a group sometimes, because everybody's got things that are hard in their lives. And I feel like people want to be more open and intimate with you and I learn a lot about people. You know, a great example of to answer your question, I do a lot of my own personal new member orientations, and then I also do them for people that are not very familiar yet with new member orientations. I might do 1 or 2 with them to kind of get their palate wet to see how to do that. But eventually, I hope that people aren't calling me every time they sponsor somebody to do their new member orientation with them.
Do you always do it in person, or do you do it over the phone or over the computer? Or is
100% over Zoom. Zoom. In fact, I don't know how, if you guys don't currently have a Zoom account, I'm not sure how you're training your teams. That's just the truth of the matter. What does Zoom cost? Free or $14.99, I think, is the lowest one for people like under 10 in a Zoom room, which is all you need to really grow it. It's $15 a month. I got the Mac Daddy one for $50 because I do Zoom lives through Facebook. You don't need that one. Just do the $14.99 one, and you can train your team one at a time. Outside of Zoom, I'm not sure how, or if you're doing a go-to meeting or Zoom meeting, if you're doing something where you're like face-to-face, there's an energy about that. You know, we just had a recent one. Is Heather Rice on here? I'm not sure if Heather's on here. Heather is a personal of mine. Her sister lives down in California. She sponsored this gal who was really excited, who did Road and Fields, got in. Heather hasn't done enough new member orientations to do it on her own. She said, would you help me? I'm like, absolutely. I got on it. We heard this great story about this awesome woman. Maybe you guys saw her Facebook Live. She's from down in California, and her son has Down syndrome. And she's like got a super great heart. She's a nurse, and she's just completely, it's like she's going to have like 20 people from down in California at the major function in California and San Diego. But I got to know her heart. I didn't know she had a son with Down syndrome. I didn't know her why. Her why is that kids with Down syndrome have a suppressed immune system. So she wants to do everything in her son's power. Now that he's 5, 6 years old, she wants to do everything in his power to make sure he has every fighting chance to live a normal life, right? And so anyway, the truth is
that was her first live. Did you know that, Renita?
Yeah, she's incredible, right? But you know why? Because from the depths of her being, she believes, and she has a big purpose. And she says very clearly, I care very much about the money. So we got to quit saying we shouldn't care about the money. She said, you know why I care about the money? Let me tell you. Let me give you this to you guys, and you can understand why money is so important. And we got to quit saying things like we don't care about the money. She said, I care deeply about the money. I'm a nurse, and right now I work full time. And our son goes to this kind of like preschool. She said, the aftercare we have is not good, Renita. With the aftercare, because my husband and I both work, we send our Down syndrome boy to an aftercare that is not good. She said, my primary goal is to make enough money to be able to at least be home with my son the majority of the days when he gets done with school. She said, I need to make enough money to do that because I'm seeing that the aftercare, as he's getting older, he's needing more help, and they're not giving it at these facilities. So now, do I think that I want to help that woman to make an extra $100,000 this year or not when she told me that goal?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
100% show me the money. So for me, it's not like, oh, I don't want to make the money. That woman's goal is to get home with her Down syndrome son. If I wouldn't have done a Zoom meeting with Heather, with her on a new member orientation, because she's not going to say that in a big group format, right, where you're going to get to know her heart, and she told me specifically what she wants. She said, I care deeply about making the money. That's what she said. And so then what I do is I just feed that, and I help that, and I encourage that, and everything I can do in the power to help move that with her, I will move it. I will move mountains with her. I will stay up 24/7 if I have to with her, because she told me her heart, and I care so much about her Down syndrome son and the fact that I want this mom to be at home with her kid. Boom. That's how I operate. So for me, it's like, it's definitely about the health, and it's definitely about the money. It's about both, and you can't determine that for somebody. In fact, you should ask them what it is for them and let them tell you. That's what I think we should be doing. You know, what is it that intrigues you about this? You know, Jacinta's, hers is retirement, right? Because she's like, okay, we're getting older. Like, we want more money for retirement, right?
Yeah. I'm with you there.
Say Diane's is retirement. I mean, there's people on this thing that retirement, and, you know, and for me, it's like, I've lived without money in my marriage, and I tell you what, it has threatened divorce 100 times. People, when they say money doesn't matter, bullshit. You want to call extra stress in a marriage after you have kids, small children, they're crying, your sleepless nights, and now you don't have any money? That's called stressful. That's called the downgrading of a marriage. I love the Lord Jesus with all my heart, but at a certain point, you have to pay the mortgage. So they're both very important, and you need to start talking like that, because if you talk like that, you'll attract that. If you're only talking about health, you'll attract a lot of sick people. That's the truth. Sherry, do you want to expand on that? You're nodding your head. Oh, I can't hear you.
Oh, there we go. I've done much better when I'm talking about the business. And I a lot of times do talk about health, but I'm always say, because when I first got involved with network marketing, it was because one person told me when they first talked to me, they said, yes, this will help you, but I'm also wanting to stay home with my child, you know? So there was that key that set to me that, oh, I can make money too, you know? So I've done better with that. And I think it's what's helped me grow faster.
Yeah. I know that you've done really good with that, Sherry. I'm witnessing that you're attracting more leaders than ever because you're talking like that, you know? It's about nourishing 1 million endocannabinoid system. No question about that, but it's also about getting those moms home to be with their kids if they need to be.
Well, and having fun at Blake Shelton.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Whatever it takes, right? And so
that's right.
But ask people, and that's why, Nick, to answer your question, I would be doing single new member orientations with every one of those people individually, not as a group setting, and get to know their hearts and find out what they're about. Don't tell them what you're about. We know what you're about. You know what I'm about. Find out what they're about. And then figure out as a leader how you can help move that, you know? Shauna's nodding her head. Shauna, I know, doesn't like her. I mean, she's okay with her job, but she'd rather be out of it. Right, Shauna? I can't hear you. You're muted.
Sorry. Yes, I'm ready to be home with my 4 kids. And,
there you go.
Financially free so that our marriage is better and we don't have to worry about money and 4 crying kids at night.
There you go.
Working full time.
So do I think I want to help Shauna? You bet I want to help Shauna. Right?
You,
so can I, when you're going through a flip or the getting started guide and you're showing somebody the back office, do you go into their back office or your back office? Because you know, how sensitive do you have to be with the information that's in your back office, like on your dashboard?
Yeah, sometimes I don't like my amount of money I made coming up on there. I mean, because sometimes I think maybe it'll give some people a vision. Other people might think it's unrealistic, or, you know, you just don't know where people are at. And so all I do on my screen is I have a thing where I can go like this and draw it out. And then I pull it all the way over to the side. Do you guys have a screen like that's a touch screen? Or
right.
Just control plus, like, and then I just pull it all the way out until it gets to the side over there. Scott does it differently. Scott makes people, Scott did your new member orientation, right?
Yes.
So we're Scott and I are getting so tight on new member orientations, you guys, I can't even express it. And a year ago, I couldn't say that. I was worthless at them. In fact, most of you that I initially signed up, I'm sorry I didn't do one with you. Like Jacinta being one of them, right, Jacinta? Because I just pointed to the key. Yeah, but we're okay. We're over that now. We're moving ahead, onward and upward. But now when we sponsor somebody or we know somebody's a kingpin that wants to build a business, we try to do it like immediately. We don't try to schedule it next week or the next week. I'm like, what are you doing right now? What are you doing at 3 o'clock today? What do you do? Like, we just make it a priority because we put a huge sense of urgency on people that want to build the business.
And if they, can I ask you a question? Do you do it differently for people who are just coming on as customers first and are kind of interested in it? Or
I'm going to be truthful with you. I don't do any new member orientations on customers. I've not done one. True story. And maybe that's wrong. But as a customer, I don't feel like they have as much,
Skin in the game. Skin in the game. Right?
Well, it's not even skin in the game. Because now I had a customer that one month ordered like $5,000 worth of pure gold. I mean, people are nuts.
Like if they don't have a desire to do the business and they just want to consume there, it would be worthless amount of time to do a new member orientation with them.
At this point, I'm more selective. Here's my answer. Right. Elena, when you're first starting out, Alana, I'm going to call, Scott goes, why are you calling her Elena? Her name is Alana. I'm sorry. Alana, when you're first starting out, if you have just a handful of people, 2, 3, 5, 7, 12, you can get to them all. It's okay to do those new member orientations, even with the customers. You're creating relationship. Your team is small. Right?
And how would you, I have about 15, and then I enrolled some people through other of my brand ambassadors to go fast start. But so what about the people who say they want it and they're not getting back to you on setting that call? How would you advise? I mean, do you be honest with them and say, hey, look, this is what you said you wanted. Do you still want it?
I use that, but I think I use a little bit more of humor to get them on the hook than because I have a tendency, I can go choleric and really intense really fast and put the screws to you. And so that's just part of my temperament. So my other side of my temperament is really jovial and fun. And I find that people are attracted more to the fun because their jobs are being put the screws to them. Their jobs suck. You know, they don't like it. They have too much stress already. So now you're like pressuring them and they don't like that feeling. So if they don't get back to me right away, I'm more fun and jovial about it. I'm like, hey, what are you waiting for? Like, let's go. I'm more like that. And in fact, sometimes instead of texting, because texting can be misinterpreted wrong many times, I actually have that little thing on my phone where you hit the microphone and I let them hear my voice so that they know and when I talk with a smile on my face. I literally tell myself before I begin the conversation, smile. Because listen, if I said, hey, you guys, we're going to get started with this right now, okay? Or I said, hey, you guys, we're going to get started with this right now. You can drastically hear a difference in my tone when I'm smiling. So what I do is I actually smile, hit the record button, let them hear my voice and say, now by this point, you feel like I'm a frickin' stalker. But listen, we got to get going with this because you told me how much you hate your job. And sister, I really want to be working with you. So give me a call back at your convenience. Let's get this party started. I mean, that's actually how I talk.
You know what I love? And the reason I'm asking all these questions, Renita, is because you do not do anything without thinking about it or a purpose. And
I have purpose for everything I do.
That's what I love, because that's why I know I can ask these questions and you're going to have an answer.
Yeah. So smile when you talk. Back to the question, if you have a small enough team, 2, 3, 5, 7, even 15, I might do new member orientations with the customer. You never know when you say something during that new member orientation that gets their attention, right? Where they're like, you know what, I think I might want to, because sometimes people downplay wanting to make money. Do you guys know that? It's almost like for them to say, I want to make money, I want to do this for the money. They almost feel like it's an embarrassment or something. You know what I'm saying? And so, Right. So when you get them kind of alone, I feel like people have a tendency to let their guards down a little bit more, and they tell you a little bit more truth that's going on in their lives. Time, money is tight. Like we do have friction about it, or like whatever. It would be nice to make extra $500.
That is so funny that you say that, because if you were going out looking for a new job, are you going to want a job that pays $25 or $12 an hour? And that's, I think I caught that with you right now, and that's crazy that people actually are ashamed to want to make money. You know?
Yeah. And I realized a long time ago, I took that thing by, what's his name? My prefrontal cortex is not as good these days because we have massive stress at the end of every month. But Dave Ramsey, Financial Peace University. We took that course with him, and I tell you what, money matters. Like it gives you a goal, it gives you a focus. Scott and I were not, when we had both a destination for that financial goal, there was less fighting in our house. Like it was just like it's like a big weight lifted because we finally had a goal. We were working together on something. We didn't have to apologize on it. To be debt free is a blessing. I don't know if I call being debt free a blessing. When I paid off my student loans, we celebrated. I'm not kidding. Like things like that are a blessing to be now not underneath that anymore. And so I don't know. I like I said, I've been really, at one point in my life, I'm like, oh, I would do it for free. I'm like, listen, I've done so much for free. I will continue to do things for free because that's my heart to help people. But the truth of the matter is I'm not going to be doing things for free when I'm just constantly sewing into people. You know, we had a mentor once that said network marketing is a lot like catch. If I throw you the ball and you don't throw it back eventually, then it becomes dodgeball.
Right.
That's a really good analogy in my mind. You know, if you're tossing the ball and you're hey, have you had a chance to check out that link? Hey, did you hop on that business training? Hey, did you get on that Wednesday night webinar with Dr. Titus? And they're saying no. And I would say, you know what? It sounds like you're super busy, but when you're willing to engage in the process of building this business, get a hold of me. I want to help you. And I would say it with a smile on my face like I just said it to you guys. Because if not, you're just battering the hell out of them. And they're not doing anything. And that's not encouraging, to anybody. You feel bad, they feel bad, everybody feels bad. No, I mean, it's like, oh my gosh, what are we doing here? So, I don't know, just try to keep it light, keep it positive. If you have to go back, Alana, more than 1, 2, or 3 times, I would do a voice text like that. I'd keep it super light, maybe even a video. I've actually, when I thought to myself, they're going to misinterpret this if I text it because it's kind of hard. what I'm saying?
That's what I did. I called and I just left a message, say, I love you no matter what. Just let me know how I can help.
Exactly. Perfect way to do it. And because they saw that, they'll be like, you know what? I want to do business with her. That's what's going to end up happening. And in the meantime, I don't hold my breath. I go get 10 more people.
Exactly. Right.
That's just it. Well, you know, sometimes I think we focus so much on the one that's not saying yes. We got 12 waiting to say yes.
Right.
You know, but we're kind of investing all of our energy in that one.
Or the one who's saying yes, but not doing the actions.
Right.
Sometimes it's, yeah.
A big thing in network marketing is don't tell me, show me. You know, I've realized, and I think a hindrance in network marketing is there's a lot of big talkers and there's very, very few big doers in the industry. And so, and I think it gives the whole darn thing a bad rap, actually. Like I'm about improving the integrity of network marketing as a whole, because I think it's such a legit way for financial freedom to be able to stay home with your kids, because I've experienced that. But I think that because some people, you know, I said to Scott, I'm at that point where when we have people that are 2, 3, 5, 7, 9, 10 levels deep, just sponsoring people to get the $60 and then never dealing with that person again, that's really hard on me as a leader, because now I want to help that person, right? Obviously, we want to help those people anywhere where they're on our team, not just the personally enrolled, anywhere. But Nick, you got a large team. Let's say that you got 43 people on your team. If you all of a sudden hung it up today and said, piss on it, I'm not going to do it, now I'd have to go in and help those 43 people. So do you see how people that are not consistent and not really committed to network marketing are really the ones that are kind of destroying the entire message of it?
Well, I'll tell you, and I'll just be forward, you know, there is pressure because with network marketing, let's say you have a hot month, right? Like you sign up 15 people and then you want to do at least that or more the next month. And what you got to do is just prepare yourself mentally that you might not do that.
Yeah.
Right.
And what how I actually fixed that, because I have a lot of that same temperament drive like you have. How I actually fixed it is I almost think I sponsor 15. I go through and I make sure that now they're all personally trained before I go out and recruit the next 15. Because what good is it if I'm doing 15, and no one's had any appropriate training? At the end of 6 months, I might have 3 left because no one got trained. So for me now,
well, and then you're having to do like that. I get it. Yeah, you're having to do all the sponsorship instead of the people that you're sponsoring.
And I have a constant goal too. I mean, with enrollment, I never take my foot off the gas pedal. I mean, that's just who I am. And I mean, I love enrolling because I love getting new people. I literally live by that movie where he says, I think I can go get one more. Like, I think if I help one more people, I might like save their life. I actually think like that.
Well, that's,
I don't know if
that's $450. Each person's $450.
But many times when I'm going out to recruit, to talk to the mom, to talk to this person, I'm not even thinking about the $450, Nick. I'm thinking about if I can get this mother to say yes, it's going to help her anxiety in dealing with her 3 children that are under the age of 4. You know what I mean? I have that thought process. So when she gets the senior kit or whatever, am I happy that she did the senior kit? Yeah, because financially, whatever, you know, it's $300. But at the end of the day, I felt like I just got one more. Like, I don't know. I still operate from that, but I know there's a balance in your soul between helping people for real, because they can sense that, and money matters. There's that balance right there, and it's a delicate balance, right? If you come across too money driven, it might turn somebody away. You might attract some people, actually, if you come across money driven. Randy said that I need to change my message, or, you know, kind of make more of my message money. He said, you know, you're too much of a health coach. And I'm like, well, listen, that's a sweet spot for me. And that's been 22 years in the making. So that doesn't just like go away out of me. That kind of, when I like open my mouth and nose and eyes, that just comes out of me, because that's who I am. You know, I said, so I'm not going to get rid of that. I'm going to do in addition to. So as much as I'm talking about the health, I'll be talking about the financial opportunity. That's kind of how, when I talked to him, I kind of made that deal to balance it more. You know what I mean? Because, and I don't know. You know what it is? Network marketing is the best business in the world for personal development, because when you grow, your entire team grows. You know that? When you grow, and something I do is I learn and I teach. I learn and I teach. I learn and I teach. I learn, and that's why my retention is really pretty good with numbers, because I'll learn that thing on the webinar with Titus. I'll turn around and I'll teach it to you guys a minute later. So I'll retain that stat. You know what I mean? Then tomorrow I'll talk about it all day.
Personally, what I think is really cool about this type of business is the relationships that you're building with all these people that you don't even know, for
Absolutely.
one, and you know, the amount of income that could be made, for 2, And then really think about like the engagement. Like, look at everybody on here. It's been an hour and 22 minutes, right?
Yeah, it's huge engagement.
And it's what time? Like 10:30, right?
Yeah.
And what's great is there's
We
people
gotta go.
still on here because they want to be on here, though. You know what I mean? Like, to better themselves. And you got people at corporate meetings that are running out the door when it gets over.
Yeah, I was
Is
saying
it 5 o'clock yet?
You share that right there on your
all you
social
see is the
media,
smoke from
right?
the
Hold on, I
tires.
gotta take a picture of this because that was just great. I mean, just sharing that on your social media, like, is this even work? You know, because we're all excited to be here, and just talking about those little nuggets draws all the people. Like you said, it's not necessarily from a place of the money, but it's creating that ripple effect of what that money can do in people's lives.
Yeah.
And making the difference on the health end. I mean,
Have you guys ever read the book? I've read so many books in the last 11 years and 12 years of network marketing. Have you read the book, The 1 Minute Millionaire?
I have.
No.
Who's read that? Sherry. We did an entire, remember when we did a mastermind group on the 1 Minute Millionaire? Were you on that? I'm not sure if you were. I did it for my team back in Montevideo days. But the 1 Minute Millionaire kind of talks about like a little bit about that butterfly effect. Like every time you do something, if it's a positive thing that you're doing, it just literally sends this ripple out into the world. And whether or not you think that it did anything, it might be a month later, 6 weeks later. And so what we need to do is we need enough people doing the right things. That's what needs to happen, because eventually then it's just like a tidal wave constantly of goodness.
and
You know,
Renita, that's what I was thinking when Nick was sharing earlier about his business training last night, and you said you had 3 people. I'm like, that's awesome, because you know what? They're going to talk about it, and then they're going to have 3 people, and then and like you said, it's going to be 75 people, just like with Renita, and with that consistency, and it creates a ripple effect.
And get to know their hearts. Like at that first meeting and second meeting and third meeting, the first 35 to 40 minutes of it, I didn't talk. I said, what's your name and why are you here? So I let the whole introduction was everybody telling their stories. And facts tell and stories sell. And so what happens is people hear the heart of people and they connect with that. They can relate. There's a relatability. And then I get up there and I'm like, okay, let's play a video, company of first or whatever. You know what I mean? I get to that eventually. But I really let that interaction happen on the team. And you guys know this. I like to talk. I can overtalk. I mostly do overtalk. That's why I don't even I said to Scott today when I got off one of my new member orientations, I said, I'm getting so freaking tight with these things, aren't I? Like, I'm commending myself for talking less, like, and being able to get it done, like, in under 40 minutes. For me to do a new member orientation under 40 minutes, I'm like, okay, I'm not Randy Schrader 17 yet, but under 40 is pretty good for me because I feel like they have a really good handle on everything when I'm done with them. I feel like I give them a little bit more than just a typical new member orientation, like the one that Randy does, because I talk to them about the app. I make them send a video to me from the app. I make them download the app if they haven't downloaded the app. Like, I make them do those real, like, functional, physical business steps as I go through that new member orientation. So it's an awesome thing to do. Shauna, I'm not sure if Scott did that with you, if he had you do that, but usually we try to do that with our team now.
Yeah, he did. And I had already, like, downloaded the app and had been on the website watching some of Randy's videos. So he just kind of showed me more of where everything was on the back office and in the app and what you guys did for success. So it was super helpful.
I'm going to tell you guys, some of you guys don't know about Shauna right now. She's awesome, and I have an innate love for her because I love her sister. Her sister sang at our wedding when Scott and I got married. And before I signed up for Kannaway, the night I signed up for Kannaway, the very night, I knew one person in my whole peer group that knew more than me about cannabis. And it was Shauna's sister, Nick, the gal that sang at our wedding. And I hadn't talked to Nick in a year. And I called up Nick, I texted Nick, and I'm like, you know what, can you get on this call with this guy named Randy Schrader and ask questions that I don't know to ask? That's literally how the conversation went. And Nick goes, I'm 100% in the Renita Brandon team. Yes, I'll get on. I'm not signing up for any network marketing company. That's what your sister said to me. I'm not signing up for any network marketing company, but I'll get on and I'll ask him questions because I know a lot about cannabis. I'm like, awesome. So she got on, and that night, Nick and Randy and I sat on the phone for 3 hours. Ask Nick. 3 hours.
She told me.
3 hours she drilled Randy. She asked questions I couldn't even ask those questions now. Like, she knew so much. And we got off the phone. I'll never forget it. It was like the 30th or New Year's. It wasn't New Year's Eve. It was the 30th, the night before New Year's Eve. And Nick was prepping for the New Year's Eve party. And she got off the phone and she called me back 7 minutes later. It was 12:37 on my phone, a.m. And she said, sign me. I hadn't signed up yet. She said, sign me up. I said, what do you mean? She goes, I said, I thought you're not getting in. She goes, sign me up with the biggest pack. And I said, the $1,800 pack? She goes, are you going to sign me up or should I sign you up? And I said, Nick, I'm going to sign you up, but I haven't signed up yet. She goes, sign up and send me the link so I can sign up. I'm like, okay. But if it wasn't for Nick asking those 3 hours of questions, I wouldn't be in Kannaway. Your sister changed my life. So I love you.
You changed hers as well.
I love you just because of all that, because you're like a sister and you have come from that same mold. You guys are just good
Same
people.
here. And I apologize how I look tonight. I'm very sorry.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, we're not worried about that. This is not a fashion show tonight.
I just got home from the hospital today. I just had a hernia mesh removed.
Oh my gosh, are you okay? How are you feeling?
I'm all right. I had to take narcotics at the hospital because they won't let you bring anything else in.
Right.
But I was listening before and you guys were talking, and I told them I took CBD and they were fine with that, but they wouldn't let me take anything else. And
so you took the narcotics.
I had IV
narcotics are fine as long as you quit them before 3 days.
Well, I've been in the hospital since Thursday.
Oh my gosh. That's a long surgery.
Well, I've been having attacks for 2 years because I've had a partially obstructed bowel. And so I didn't know what it was. And the surgeon told me that there was no way that it could have been my mesh. And so I just ignored that and moved on with life and looked into food allergies, and maybe I was gluten intolerant, and I went to a naturopathic allergist, and he did some things, and still I would have attacks, and I could eat the same thing 4 times, and then the 5th time it would make me have an attack. An attack was like I would start to feel sick about an hour after I ate, and then in order to correct it, I would have to make myself throw up, and I threw up between 8 and 12 times every time.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
So I've been dealing with it for 2 years, and so then I went to Nick's doctor, actually, because Nick went to this guy, and Pete worked with him at the hospital, and so I went off of her recommendation and saw a different doctor as a second opinion. It only took me 2 years, but and when he got in there, he found an entangled intestine in the mesh, and so he had to take the mesh out and take out part of my intestines, and so but I stopped taking my narcotic at the hospital, and I've just been on CBD oil since I've been home, and I'm just in bed with the ice pack on. So
that's crazy. That's a good story by itself.
And I put the salve on my incision. I have like a 6-inch incision down the front of my stomach, and so I put that on my incision, and instead of the cream that they put on at the hospital. And so I'm doing pretty good. I'm not going to say it's completely gone, but it's definitely tolerable. I think I'll be able to sleep tonight.
I'm so thankful that you're on CBD, and I'm so thankful that you're working the business. I want you to get home with those kids. I want you to take more time for yourself. Like, I know that you've been working full time with your husband while you've been going through all that hell. So
yeah,
I feel your pain. I'm sorry that that's all happened. Wow. I didn't know any of that's happened.
Yeah,
Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
And maybe Scott knows because you talked to Scott I was like,
you know what's funny, Renita, is the night that I had my new orientation with Scott is I was having an attack during that. And so thankfully we weren't on a Zoom meeting, so he couldn't see my face, but I was listening and taking notes. And as soon as we were done, I went to my husband's basketball game and then headed to the hospital. So
wow. You guys, the power of the human spirit is just unbelievable sometimes, I think. Don't you guys think that?
Right. Yeah, totally.
Like just what we can overcome.
No excuses.
Yeah, and here's the truth. Like, we can all overcome anything. I just think through God, all things are possible. I just believe that with all my heart. Like, I just have a strong faith. But, like, Shauna, you're going to do awesome on this. You're going to be awesome. I'm excited for you and your whole family. And I love her.
My mom tonight.
You signed her up?
Yeah, and she wants to do the business, and Nick hadn't gotten to her yet, so her loss, my gain.
Come on. Nick better get her game face on. Nick was talking to Scott the other day about the money, and I said, Nick is sitting on the gold mine. She's the very first person I sponsored.
Exactly.
Jacinta was the second. Jacinta was the second. Yeah, but she's going to get busy. I think she'll do it. I think the fact that you're doing it is motivating her. So
I hope
funny how that works. So you guys, we could talk all night, but I love you guys. I mean, I really believe the best is yet to come. I think that we all are at different points in our journey, aren't we? In different parts in our story. I think it's important to keep the faith, do the next right thing, say yes, smile more when you're talking to people. Like if you feel like you're pounding them, you are. Like
I am.
Right? You are, Diane. Go back with a little jovial, leave a lighthearted message. You know, people want to join you because they want to escape their lives, which many times are hard, you know, with lots of stress with kids, families, marriages, businesses, jobs. Like there's a lot of things people deal with every single day. And so go back with more of a jovial tone, you know, and people will sense that. They'll feel that lightheartedness. And that's really what they want to be part of. And honestly, when you're doing the business and your business is ticking and you know how you know you're on the right track in network marketing? There's a great book. Nick, are you still on?
Yeah, I'm here.
Book, it's called The Seasons of Change, or maybe it's called The Seasons of Business. I think it's called The Seasons of Change by Jim Rohn. Everybody should watch that, or read that book, listen to that book, however you prefer to listen or take in information. The Seasons of Change, it could be The Seasons of Business. I can't remember the exact title, but it's by Jim Rohn. And he said, in business, there's always 4 stages. It's never just a harvest season. It's never just always fall. You know what I mean? Sometimes we think it's always harvest. It's always harvest. What do we do in the winter? Winter's more of a hibernation. It's where we grow. It's where we strengthen ourselves, right? So that when spring hits, we can get out and plant. And so to always think you can be in a harvest season is foolish in network marketing. You would be exhausted. And so you got to read that book because it's good for really any business, but it really is really front and center for network marketing, talking about just embrace the season you're in instead of fighting against it. Because if you're fighting against it, then you think this business sucks. Like if you're in a winter season and you're thinking it should be fall, you should be harvesting, there is nothing but frustration in that gap. And when you just embrace the fact that you're kind of in a winter season, like Shauna, you're just coming into a spring season where you're just going to be, and seasons don't correlate with seasons actually.
Right.
Let's get that straight. We're not all in a winter season right now, okay? Even though we live in North Dakota.
Right.
You know, the seasons are independent on the person. So every one of you is at a different season in your life, in your business. You know, many times the family dynamics come into play with that. If you just had a baby, if you're pregnant with the baby, like all those things matter, you know. And so decide what season that you are actually in when you read that book. And then you can embrace that better. When you're in some of those seasons, you're like, oh, you know, this is not a harvest season where I'm supposed to be sponsoring 20 people this month, Nick. This is more of a summer season.
Growing season.
Yeah, what a summer season is, you know, he explains about all the seasons. You know, the spring is planting, summer's where you're kind of watching it come to fruition. You're watering it. You're letting the sun shine on it. You're letting it grow. But you're part of that process in network marketing. Are you going back and watering those people that you put in? Are you helping them? That's a summer season. It's not supposed to be harvest yet. You know what I mean? So I think that once you learn that, then you're not so bent out of shape when you don't feel like you're enrolling 20 people a month.
Well, I'm definitely doing a lot of seeding, but no one's joining. I mean,
that's okay. Just keep seeding because eventually, here's the thing that I'm going to teach you. Write it down. Every good seed planted will eventually reap a harvest. Don't ever forget that. That's a life lesson. Every good seed planted will eventually reap a harvest. Now, if you're just planting crappy seeds where you're driving down the highway and throwing seeds out the window and hoping someone says yes, I can't help you. But if you're planting a legit seed with somebody where you're going back and forth and there's a little line of communication there and you're answering some questions and you're showing echo connection, and even if they don't say yes, now if you're just planting and you have no response, you got to get a different planting method. You know what I mean? You can't just keep doing that same method. If it's not working, it's like, okay, you can do this 87 times and it not to work. You got to try something else, you know?
What is the, I know that you've been on here a long time, but is there one differentiating factor between Kannaway as an MLM or a networking business compared to a lot of the other ones?
Of course.
Compensation.
Everything, Nick.
Yeah.
Everything.
Well, I don't know because I've never been part of a different one. So I just, you know what I mean? Like in other words, when I'm talking to somebody about Kannaway, how do you describe it as far as the type of business that it is?
The type of business, or why we're the company of first?
No, just kind of trying to relate to people on how it works. Like, because a lot of people have a preconceived feeling about these type of companies sometimes, right? Or the MLMs. I don't want to say these type of companies that's putting them all in one bucket, but so I'm just trying to ask you, like, how you present the business opportunity to someone that automatically doesn't trigger them to think of like Amway or something like that. You know what I mean?
Well, the truth is, I mean, did you watch that Facebook Live that I did about why I love network marketing? In my car.
I watched it a
dealership?
lot. But in a real life, like you're talking to somebody, right? And they're your prospect, and you are telling them about, they say, well, how does that business work? It sounds like,
a pyramid scheme.
it sounds
Pyramid.
So what is your exact response to that?
I totally know how you feel. I mean, I absolutely felt the same way. I mean, I remember the very first time I went to a network marketing meeting, Jacinta and I were going to wear shirts that said, we're not signing up. I mean, that's where we were at with the thing. So I totally know how you feel. I hated network marketing too. I felt probably worse than you felt toward it. But what I found, there's my feel, felt, found that I use all the time. What I found is it's the best industry on the planet if you like to help people. And truthfully, network marketing is not like it was 20, 30, 40 years ago. I mean, do you buy things online? Do all of you buy things online at this point in our lives? Shopping online is pretty much the norm. 25 years ago, we didn't buy things on the internet like we do now. You look at.
So you just go down that path then of
I say Amazon.
About
Amazon,
why
you can become an Amazon affiliate. You can become an Amazon affiliate. Most places you can become affiliate. That is a form of network marketing. The guy, Mark Zuckerberg said he would relaunch Facebook as a network marketing company. So you have these billionaires that are talking like that. That's how you talk. So what I think when somebody doesn't understand it, even after I explained it, I don't spend a whole lot of time convincing, because they might need a belief system change. It's kind of like the cash flow quadrant. They might need a belief system change. And when you move people from an employee mindset over to a business mindset, you don't just move them over. The reason that happened to me is I found out that I had 10 sex offenders within 6 blocks, and I wanted to get the hell out of the neighborhood. And I was willing to do something different than I was currently doing, because I had just had my second son, and I was like, okay, if I keep doing this, I'm busting my ass, working 19 hours a day, making 40 grand a year. Like, what am I doing? You know what I mean? And so, that was called paying my bills at 40 grand, by the way, for my gym. And so I realized at a certain point, I have to do something drastically different. And so, I think that with network marketing, the people that do the best are the ones that are, first of all, know and believe in the industry because they've had experience in it, and maybe they tried other things that hasn't worked, but CBD is different than everything else. And the other thing I think is people that do really great with network marketing is people that are almost like sick of their jobs and they want something else, but they can't even quantify that with their mouth what it is. And so when they start doing this, they find a lot more purpose because you're helping people, right? And you're sewing into people's lives. And remember, growth and contribution are two of the most basic human needs, growth and contribution. So we're constantly growing with things like this, and we're contributing to people's lives. And so they immediately feel like, gosh, I feel better already from my day job, which most people do.
Just when somebody has like an objection or like, is it one of those, like Nick was saying, pyramid schemes or something, do you kind of help them? Like you said, I used to feel the same way, and I found a pyramid scheme wasn't what I thought it was. Because that's Absolutely. For me, there's a difference between a pyramid scheme and network marketing. Pyramid schemes,
well,
pyramid schemes
I've been doing.
Say that first. Pyramid schemes are illegal.
Right.
Remember that penny thing that was a pyramid scheme where you invested a penny and that was like this weird thing? Right. I remember that. It was a pyramid scheme. It got shut down. How a pyramid scheme will always be the FDA, or not FDA, the FTC, Federal Trade Commission. FTC will come in there and they'll shut a pyramid scheme down, usually in under like the first 6 months. Sometimes it lasts a year. The longest I've ever seen it go is 18 months. We'd be a long time shut down by now. So,
do you ever relate it to other businesses of similar way? Like sometimes I'll say, hey, have you heard of doTERRA, right? Because a lot of people have heard of doTERRA, and that's an MLM. So then if they've heard of that, maybe that, if they've been a part of that or something like that, or know somebody.
Yeah, I don't do that. I don't take the eyes off my company. I never do that.
Okay.
I mean, I like to refer to it as like a referral program, like Time Warner, your cable company. You send them a few free customers, they're going to give you $50 off your next bill. Well, how would you like that to have that? I mean, you're using a product you love. You're going to naturally, without you even trying, going to talk about it. Then you get it for free. That's really what it is. It's referral-based marketing, and instead of them spending millions and billions of dollars on.
Well, do you know there's even do you know there's.
Oh, Nick cut out. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's referral-based marketing. Right. I mean, that's what it is. That's an easy objection. There's a funny video that you can send people. I showed you guys that video with that big guy. He's like, you got to talk to everybody within a 3-foot radius. So you're looking for that one person that's going to take you right up there. Like, it's a hilarious video. Have you guys seen that?
No, I didn't know we got to see that.
Oh my gosh, it's the funniest video ever. In fact, my kids know it by heart, and they've each watched it 25 times because we laugh so hard every time we play it. But like, I just send that to even break the ice to people. I'm like, this is what I don't do. You know? And so I think that, honest to God, there's going to be misrepresentation and misinterpretation of probably most businesses in the world. It's all how you come across. You know what I mean? People know that I'm not part of a pyramid scheme. I mean, come on. You know what I mean? Look at my life. You know what I mean? It's like, we don't do a pyramid scheme. Pyramids are illegal, number one. And I sometimes relate it back to day jobs. You know, if you work at, I say, if you're a teacher, you know, do you make more than the principal at your school? No. You know, or do you make, you know, does the janitor make more than you? Well, I'm not sure. Maybe not. Well, okay, maybe that's a pyramid scheme that you're working for, because it sounds like the guy at the top, the superintendent, might make the most money at the school, right? So I kind of just even give them that to make them laugh a little bit. Yeah, you know, and they're kind of let their guard down a little bit. But I honestly, in sponsoring 250 people, I don't know if I've answered that question more than 2 times. So it's not a question that I even get anymore. 10 years ago, I got it all the time. What'd you say?
I said, you're believable.
Well,
you speak the truth. And, you know, I mean, I'm at work, and if I'm not with patients, I'm looking on Facebook. Does Renita have anything going on? I want to listen to her talk. I want to learn, you know.
Yeah. Well, because I just speak with confidence, and I research the hell out of everything that I look at, and then I just speak from a point of truth. And sometimes people don't like it a little bit, you know, because sometimes the truth is hard. But I'm like, okay, have you guys looked in this direction at all? Have you noticed this? You should be looking this way. Right. Anyway, and so, I mean, but at the end of the day, don't drag or nag people. That exhausts you, and then you think the business doesn't work. For every person that you're trying to drag, nag, and beg to do it, there's 5 more waiting for you to talk to them about it. That's just the truth. I learned that a long time ago. And just don't forget, every good seed planted will eventually reap a harvest. And sometimes it's years later. And it doesn't matter, because eventually when it reaps the harvest, you'll be like, oh my gosh, this is that person that I talked to that one time, and I sewed into it quite a bit of time and energy. I think I even gave them a free sample, and here they're coming back. You know what I mean? Because something changes in their life. Maybe they have a loved one who passes away, or maybe they have a heart attack themselves, or, you know, maybe they lose their job. Something changes in their life, and they're all of a sudden in a position where they want to hear what you have to say, and they're ready to take action. So
and most of the people, you know, besides, I deal with a lot of the cancer patients. So, you go, well, I'm going to ask my doctor. I'm like, well, you can, but they're going to tell you, you know, don't do this while you're doing chemo, you know,
sure.
Let's see if the chemo works. And, you know,
well, you might have to catch the ones that have been through the system and have been there a couple times, that, you know, on their second, third bout of cancer, and say, you know what, maybe you got to try something different. And, you know, you never want, it's hard. You're in a little tougher condition because you're like a nurse there, you know what I mean? Or you're working there. You're in that realm where you could, you know, you're trying to pull them out of the trenches, and you're kind of sitting there with them, you know what I mean?
Right,
in that realm. So it is a more difficult, it's kind of a little bit more sensitive, I think, than the average person.
It is.
Just because you can't say to them, yeah,
and it's going to cure this or
says. Yeah, you know, buck your doctor. Tell him to go to hell.
I'll be out the door.
I would say great. Yeah, please go after your doctor, because it's in the physician's desk reference now. And
that's a great point, Alana. It's like that is a great selling point to say, hey, you know what? It would be a great time to talk to your doctor, because we actually just were listed the only hemp CBD company that was listed in this PDR. So that is a great comeback, actually. Now that
and then it's money too, you know, because chemo and all that, it's expensive. I mean,
I've had 2 physician's assistants tell me that, I said, you guys must have lots of patients on CBD. I was like, well, we have a handful, but they don't like it because of the money. That's I've had 2 different doctors, their office staff, tell me that.
They don't like, who doesn't like it because of the money?
The doctors don't get a cut of the money.
Some doctors, I said, great, yes, please let me know what you think about it. You know, I've had other people come to me saying their doctors are recommending it. I've had 2 personally tell me that, that this doctor, one was a rheumatologist, that she doesn't like it because it takes away from her money. So I was just like, wow, not surprised, but just sad.
Yep, it's okay. I mean, you know what? I sometimes you just realize that sometimes God's rejection is your protection.
Exactly. 100%. Totally.
Don't get too bent out of shape about some people, because I'm like, God might be protecting you from something with that person later on. You don't know. So I don't know. I just kind of trust the process. I just do the next right thing, say yes to a lot. Anytime I have an opportunity to say yes to help my team or people out, I usually say yes. And if you just keep that flow going, it is a ripple effect. It is a butterfly effect. It just keeps on keeping on. You know what I mean? I think that some people say, I'm too busy. Well, as long as you say that, your business is not getting anywhere. We could all use that as an excuse because all of us, I think, are busy. So.
Right. Did anybody catch what Titus said about Chicago?
Are they having an event in Chicago?
Not something that's going to be happening in Chicago. I don't know if it's going to be some legalization
commodity. I think the markets.
Was it markets?
Yeah.
Because I wanted,
like you said, traded on the market like a commodity. I think is what you're referencing to.
I think so.
Yeah, he's talking about the Chicago Grain Exchange with hemp is what he was talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, that's going to be kind of a big deal. I'm wondering how that is all going to play out. Again, I feel like we're like 1/100th in here.
I wanted to get a little more information and run with that.
Well, the truth is that's where eventually it's going to go. I mean, first of all, it has to be descheduled, but I mean, all of that's going to be coming on the pipeline, and that's why I'm excited that our company is even doing various things, even some of you heard it and some of you didn't. I reached out to Titus about the electromagnetic waves that are in the cell phone with this 5G network that you keep reading all about, because I read all that stuff all the time. And I at 1:00 in the morning, I texted Titus like last night. I'm like, we need a hemp blanket for my bed with that that protection on it. Yeah. And he said, he got back to me. He's like, absolutely, comprised an email to Blake. He's like, hey, we need a hemp blanket with this. He put a couple references of the things. I actually think that they're going to be launching that. I'm like, yes, that is so awesome. And so Blake came back and he's like, we're offering a hemp blanket already out of Hempies. And then I said, but does the hemp blanket have the 5G protection, that layering? And then Titus then chimed back in to help me out. And he's like, had 3 like rock solid things. And he's like, this is the direction the yogis are moving. This is the direction wellness is moving. The people that are really concerned about the natural health people are really concerned about this 5G thing. He's like, this would be a great idea. We should move in this direction. And Titus goes, in fact, I'll talk to the guy who owns Hempies myself and I'll tell him what protection covering that we need on it. I was like, perfect, done. So, I mean, that's how.
Let us know when you get more information on that.
Yeah, that's how accessible Titus is. But I feel like that's where it's going to be moving. We have so many great things coming down the pipeline with Kannaway that it's not like, we're the original CBD company, but you guys got to keep in mind, like, we're going to be all things hemp, all things cannabis. So it's only going to get bigger, faster, stronger. I'm excited about all that, where it's going. So innovation is huge. Education is huge, and compensation is huge. Nick, that's what makes us different. Education, innovation, and compensation. No one else has an echo connection. You know what I mean? No one else has HempWorks doesn't have an echo connection. All these other companies don't have an echo connection. What'd you say?
Right. Yeah, HempWorks, when I was doing my research, they were booted out of Canada. And aren't we just entering into that market here?
Yeah. So they do a lot of, so like, if you know Titus really well, you'll know that he always plays right within the rules.
Right. Yeah.
And he knows them to a T. And he'll play right in them. And he's the first to say that. But, a lot of these other companies, they kind of sneak in under the radar and then they get booted. They just do things illegal and unethically. And the more you get to know Titus, the more you'll realize he's like, on an ethics scale, he's 100%. Like, he's just so ethical, like that way of thinking. And he'll just take it right to the edges because he knows the exact boundaries, whereas most people, they just run through them and then they get in trouble. And that doesn't ever add any believability for the company or integrity for the company when that happens anyway, right? So I'm like, why would you want to do that? Why wouldn't you just play within the rules? So whatever their loss is, that's our gain, right?
Well, Renita, with your spare time that you don't have, I've been doing some live videos, kind of out of the comfort zone. So can you maybe critique them for me?
Yeah, I'm going to go watch them.
Tell me what isn't being done right, or what I could do more.
Yep. I'll do actually, when we get off, I'll watch that before I go back to my continuing ed. I'm trying to wrap up continuing ed for some other stuff, but yeah, I'm going to go, I'll go watch those, Diane. Diane, we still need to do one together. Is there a time that works for you? I'll messenger you. Let's get that nailed down. I apologize about last weekend.
That's okay.
We were on our way to South Dakota, driving through a blizzard to get to a track meet. So that's never very much fun.
No.
I'm ready for winter to be over. I was really positive until about the 12th. Now I have to take a lot of extra CBD every day to be positive about the weather.
We have no school all the time.
My kids would love that, Sherry. Here, they just tell them, bundle up. It's 20 below. Suck it up, Buttercup. Get to school. I'm like, I hate this. So,
all right.
I'm ready for California.
Me too.
Come on over.
Yeah. going to be so great. All
Yeah.
right,
Can I stay at your house?
Right. Randy, we're coming over. We're all be over for this party.
Yes. Yes.
That's funny. You guys, I appreciate you getting on
All right.
tonight, especially since it was so long, but I really appreciate all of you. As I don't say it enough, just somebody said to me, your predominant love is not love and connection. It's a priority for me, but sometimes growth and other things kind of overtake it. So I got to pull myself back in and get back to my heartstrings. All I got to do is listen to one person's testimony or about their kid having Down syndrome, and boy, it takes me right there in 5 seconds. And I'm just, boom, right back to heart. Here we go, right? So with that being said, God bless you guys. Have a great night. And Diane, I'll get a hold of you about that live. The rest of you, I'll see you next Wednesday on the corporate meeting at 8.
Okay.
Yes.
Don't mind, Renita.
When is the
Bye.
thing
Love
at
ya.
Dickie's
Bye.
barbecue?
Buddy.
What time?
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Nathan, did you say something?
Yeah, what time is the thing at Dickie's barbecue?
Oh, you should come down to it. You'd love it. It's at 6 p.m. on Tuesday nights.
Okay.
Can you make it? Load your car up and get them down here. Say, come with me. I'll buy you dinner at Dickie's.
Yeah, but given my situation, travel's always issue.
It's a little
'Cause
harder.
I use a wheelchair.
Sure.
And travel's always the issue.
And it's been so darn cold that, even with the wheelchair, it's probably easier in the spring and summer months, I'm sure.
Exactly, because I actually live right by Dickie's. I live behind Kiss Livestock.
You do?
Yep.
Is there a way we can pick you up?
Well, being I'm unemployed right now, I'm back on the farm.
Oh, you're back on the farm. Okay.
Yeah, so.
Okay, well, when you're
I'm
back
not
in
in
town,
Bismarck right now.
when you're back in Bismarck, we'll pick you up. We'll
Okay,
bring you to Dickie's. I'll buy you dinner.
Sounds good, because I have a van and stuff, but I just can't drive it. So I always need someone to drive me places.
Sure. We can throw the wheelchair in the back of the minivan. We got a minivan.
Well, it's an electric wheelchair, but my van has a ramp on the side.
Well, we'll get Scott in the van. I'll drop him off. He'll drive you to Dickie's.
Wait, that'll work.
Figure out a way. At a certain point, you just decide to figure out a way, and that's what we'll do to help you out.
Okay.
You tell me when you're back in Bismarck. We'll make sure you get there, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Until then, I'm praying that you get a job.
Yeah.
Make it happen.
Me too. So.
All right. Thanks for hopping on. I love you guys.
Yep.
God bless you.
Take
Andy, I
care.
saw you peek your head over. How's your calf? Is it okay?
Oh yeah, I'm better. I'm working out again.
Yeah, she's a beast. She's they're all quietly taking it in next to you, Rob, right? You got to put her.
That's right.
She's so cute. I love it. You should just have Maddie be on the webinar flexing her bicep all the time. We're gonna do some all strong mom workouts in California. Get ready.
I can't wait.
We're gonna film a ton of them. Bring
Sounds good.
your jock strap, Rob. Let's go. I'll tell Scott to bring his too. Oh, that's funny. Nick, bring your jock strap if you're still on. You'll be working out. All right, you guys. God bless you. Have a good night.
Yeah.
Take care.